Welcome back to another Team Oasis podcast. In this episode, we meet Josh of Crunch Gaming.
Hey.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Josh. I'm the CEO of Crunch Gaming. Currently studying computer science, third year. I've been doing some esports stuff, in Valorant, working in NA, Europe, Asia. Pretty excited to be here. Pretty great, yeah.
Amazing. And tell us, how did you get into gaming?
Yeah, it was actually really wild. I did digital marketing and stuff for content creators, a couple businesses, and that's kind of when I made the hop over to esports because there's a lot of overlap there. There's a lot of people
Hmm.
in esports who don't know how to manage their social media, and that's where I got some clients who were like, "Hey, Josh, I have a team. Could you help us promote ourselves on this platform?" And then that's when I got into the scene. A couple of my friends were like playing the game, like, "Hey, join our team. Help us with some of the social media there. Help play on one of the
Yep.
teams." And from there, it was just history. I kind of stepped out of being a player. I mainly got into like the management and running the team role, but that's kind of how I got in the digital marketing and some of the people who I know
Hmm.
were, making teams and participating in them.
Wait, so you said you were a player at one point?
Oh yeah, terrible. I don't have a
Oh,
VLR. I don't got a rib. I don't want. I have nothing,
was this
nothing to
Valorant?
show for it. Valorant. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
okay, that's cool.
yeah.
So, so you started? Did you start in the beta for Valorant?
No, no, no. I didn't get in that early. I think I got in
Hmm.
2021.
It's pretty close,
After the
though.
beta. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
After the beta dropped, I got a chance to play. I didn't really take the chance to start my team until later on in like 2022.
Hmm.
That's when I really started getting into management.
Yep.
It's when I really started, hitting my stride there. But 2021, I was like playing the game and like I don't really get the hype for this thing. It's kind of cool. I mean, but like, oh no, this is like CS:GO with extra steps.
I do I do really like the whole concept of Valorant, to be honest, in my opinion. It's one of those
Mhm.
games where it's a really colorful version of CS:GO. And
Yeah.
I get really bored of like looking at CS:GO. I don't
Mhm.
know. Sure, you may get more FPS on CS:GO, but the thing is about Valorant is you look at it, what's it called? And it's one of those bare bones games you're not gonna get sick of
Yeah.
looking at.
Yeah.
It's if you ever played the game Super Hot, have you
Oh
heard of it at
yeah, I played
least?
Super High.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love that game.
That's such a good game. But like it doesn't like those games, right? The graphics aren't super realistic, but the graphics feel good, It feels good to look at. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think I started to like Valorant a lot more, when I started managing stuff and I started to
Mm.
have, later in the season, the game got a little more polished, the graphics started to look better, some of the skins and stuff looked dope, some of the new agents they had looked dope, and it just overall was a lot, I guess, more interesting of an experience. On the onset, it was like, "Oh, this is just, this is extra this is CS:GO, but, like, more." But then after I realized, "Oh, yeah, no, I got a chance to feel around a bit more, got a chance to realize, oh, this game has a lot to
Yeah.
offer, and the competitive scene here is probably the best." Like, I don't know, there's not really too many contenders for esports that are beating out Valorant right now, you know?
True. I don't think there's many. I think they've kind of like. I don't think they've overtaken CS:GO, but I think they're on the road to overtaking CS:GO.
I think they already have in terms of reach and in terms of the amount of people who are getting in here, the amount of
Hmm.
interest and the amount of like attention on it. I could go around and I could like, say, "Hey guys, I'm feeling like tens right now." And be like, "Yeah, that's dope." And then I'll say, "Yo, name 3 CS:GO players." Shoot. And then the person's like that's every reaction I've ever gotten. CS:GO 2 was probably the most rushed and failed
True.
execution of a remake I've
Mm.
ever seen. Overwatch 2 barely beats it out, but Overwatch 2 is so it's like CS:GO 2
Mm.
was supposed to be the remake. It was supposed to be bringing more attention to CS:GO, but
Yeah.
unironically it murdered so much people's like care and like, you know, overall interest in the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. The thing is, yeah, the thing is about CS2 is it was just CS:GO with better graphics.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just because it's like having like an old like car from like the 80s or something. Sure, it's another like car, yeah, but just because you paint it right doesn't mean everyone's gonna buy it. You know, it's like,
Oh yeah, I think it's partly like they got rid of a lot of the aspects of CS:GO that people liked, and it's almost a little bit of nostalgia. Like that '80s, that car you got from
mm,
the '80s. They're like, yo, it's old. There's so many newer models with better specs and better everything here, but it's still your family car. It was your dad's car, or your great granddad. You have a
yeah.
sentimental connection to it, I guess. I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff around the CS:GO 2 release we could definitely talk about there. But as a
Mm.
Valorant man myself, I don't have too much expertise
That's fair.
in that aspect. But yeah, um, overall, I guess I've always saw esports as just um, a unique landscape. We have people who are
Mm.
spending just as much time as a lot of professional players, but with like none of the recognition, maybe a quarter of the recognition. No
It's
one's really
true.
paying attention to them. You're not really we've never had like a sport like this where half of the population can't even grasp it. And so we're
Mm.
sitting on the edge of something unique, but instead of, pushing forward and doing something like interesting with it, we're just seeing people, sit around and like we're seeing video game companies just put on their tournaments and just call it a day. When, this could be the next FIFA. This could be the next NFL. And there's a lot of people across the world who would be interested in getting into it, but we're not seeing that yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to see if I could, bring some
Mm.
ideas and hopefully get us there. I would imagine I'm gonna be looked at as like the founder of like modern esports or some great
That
founding
would be
father,
cool.
some
Mm.
person who pushed the needle. But I want to be a part of the process there. I want to be a part of there. I want to
Yeah.
be able to look back and be like, hey, I helped out there. That was my project
Mm.
right there. you
Yeah.
know?
We are seeing a lot of football teams get more into esports, especially the Valorant scene. We've got Swansea FC Football Club. They've recently made a
Mhm.
Valorant team. I recently got one of their players as well to join the team. So,
Wow.
but yeah, and what's it called? There's a Barcelona team out now in
Mhm.
Valorant, which is impressive because these are big teams that are getting in, like Guild as well. That was David Beckham's team, which is a huge football player from the
Yeah.
UK. So we are starting to see like people start to respect esports more because back then people used to say, "Oh, it's just people play video games," you know. Oh, I could be
Mhm.
good at that as well, but then I'm just a news person. It's like, oh, what's it called? It's like when I kid beat Tetris. And
Yeah, yeah,
they were
yeah.
mocking it.
Oh,
I was like,
the
I was
news,
like,
man.
I was so pressed, man. I was so pressed.
No, I don't know. I've never gotten pissed about people or like old people
Mm.
talking about video games. So it's like whatever at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard the yo go outside, get a real job. I've heard
Mm.
all of that before, but that one was just like, dog, that kid made history. Like
Literally,
what? That
hasn't
dude,
been
no
beaten in
one,
30 years.
no one. 30 years of gaming right here, and you're just like, so we hope this kid goes and touches some grass. I'm like, woman, this person's gonna have like a plaque in the gaming hall of fame. You won't. You
Yeah,
will exit this news broadcast, and no one will hear about her name again. Honestly,
it's true. It's true. You're spitting
Mhm.
facts.
Yeah, yeah. But honestly, I think one of the biggest, I guess, changes in how gaming and esports
Mm.
as a whole needs to operate, um, it needs to be more focused on the competitions and less of just the developer's marketing budget.
Yeah.
That's I think that when we get to a point where we see massive tournaments, like that are just okay, cool. This is bigger than Valorant. I think that's when we're gonna get to a point where we can
Mm.
esports gonna be more respected. Because right now, if Valorant wanted to, they could just cut their budget for VCT, and that would be it. No one can like that's it. It's just their marketing budget. It's just a number on
Yeah.
the line. It's a number on the screen for them.
We
But
had
if there was
um
like, high,
we had Superdome in Egypt, which was quite a big tournament. I
yeah,
think that
yeah,
was
yeah,
like 180 million or something.
yeah, yeah. Well, we get more of those events running
Yeah.
frequently. We get more of those happening
Mm.
consistently, and we get bodies and corporations and organizations above
Yeah.
these game studios that are running these
Hmm.
tournaments. It means that it's no longer like the game company having a monopoly on that. It's
Yeah.
more
Exactly.
interesting. Like for example, FIFA doesn't own soccer, and
True.
if they did, it'd be stupid. It'll be dumb.
Hmm.
It'll be like, imagine they could crush all their competition because they could just say, well, they're getting too big. You can't use soccer
Yeah.
anymore because we own the rights to that. That's kind of why we want to have like some esports governing bodies, some esports championships and tournaments that are above just individual games. To where the point where it's like, hey, if Valorant said, hey, you know what, we
Hmm.
don't want to let this massive tournament run in our game, it'd be a loss to them, and they'd have to
Yeah.
accept that there's going to be people who are operating things in their game that they might not be cool with, and I don't know. Because like right now, if I'm not sure if you've heard, like they have a lot of strict rules over how tournaments can operate in Valorant. There's
There's
like
a lot of
prize,
regulations.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't
It's like
like it.
prize pool
The
limits,
sponsor
week
limits.
limits.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And
I hate
I
it.
think until we get to a point where we have some
Hmm.
massive orgs that are almost bigger than Valorant, I think that's when we're gonna start to see them be able to put
Yep.
pressure and say, hey, well, we're gonna run this whether you want it to or not. And yeah, do you wanna be our third game, or we can just switch you out with CS:GO if you're gonna keep making a fuss about this.
Like
And I don't know.
CS. This is why CS:GO is so much better. They got esports betting. They've got crypto to
Mhm,
support them. Like all these
mhm.
like big companies that want to invest in Valorant, they can't because Riot doesn't let them. If they let
Yeah,
them,
yeah, yeah.
Valorant would be worth way more. Like way more.
Oh yeah,
Like I never understand
100%.
why Valorant's like hiding it because I think the most you can sponsor with your like team nowadays in like community tournaments is like an
Hmm.
energy drink sponsor and that's it really. Like if you look at the community
Yeah, yeah.
tournament like rules, it's like I never understand it.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't really support gambling, and I don't really like crypto too much.
Hmm.
But if they're gonna be throwing money into esports, why not?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I would never, like, me personally, Crunch is never taking a crypto sponsor because I'm like, I
Hmm.
don't like scamming people. I don't support NFTs and that stuff. But there's a lot of players out there that want to make a living off of this. There's a lot of players who want to, potentially do
Yep.
this full time and have it. And regardless of, like, maybe I don't like gambling personally, but hey, if a
Hmm.
gambling sponsor wants to throw $10 million into esports, why
Yep.
is Riot stopping that? That's $10 million to players, to casters, to managers, to coaches, to
Hmm.
the entire scene. It means people are going to be able to actually make something out of this. And when there's more money in the scene, it means that we can start to get more than just those simple riot backed tournaments that don't really care
Yep.
about like the rest of the scene. But yeah, I guess that's just my take.
Hmm.
I think it's gonna change. I think Riot's gonna start to realize that they're losing out and the scene is losing out.
Yep.
But I can't even complain too much because they're currently doing better than most of these other companies when it
This
comes
is
to
true.
running esports out. Yeah.
They do have a passion for the competitive scene, and you can see that when the game was actually first released. Like
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
been on a mission to like actually make it so that it's about competitive. Because there's a lot of games like who will like I think it was Epic Games as well that didn't care about their scene, and it was so and the same for EA
Yeah.
with Apex. But it's nice to see a game
Yeah.
that does care in like,
Like, oh
and
my.
they have the money as well, so they're not being greedy. But the sad thing is about the tier two and the tier three scene. I know you're quite passionate about that scene. So tell us a bit more
Yeah.
about Crunch Gaming and how you started it.
Yeah, yeah. I guess Crunch Gaming is something that it was very interesting because Crunch Gaming is a little bit of a community, it's a little bit of an org. Um, for I think a month or so, 2 months. I
Hmm.
worked with a couple companies. I did a couple of partnerships. Nothing
Yep.
really. Crunch didn't really start then, but then January, I would call it late December, January. So I really said, okay, you know what? When I'm moving to tournaments, I'm gonna host them better than anyone else is hosting them right now. And then that's what we did. We started hosting them weekly. I think we grew. Um, I don't even know. It was a ridiculous number. Then we started at 300 people, and then by February we're at 1,000, and then like 2,000, and then now I think we're at like 3, 4K. I don't even know. I'll
Hmm.
stop counting. But we were the fastest growing TO in the scene. We had a lot of people who were genuinely uninterested in what esports was doing right now coming in like, wow, this is a lot of interesting stuff there. There's a lot of this tournaments we haven't seen before. We were running diamond and unders. We were running ascendant and unders. We were running all ranks tournaments. We had our first $1,000 tournament. I believe it was in March. No, it was in February. It was late February. Put that on there. I don't think it got on VLR, but it got on Rib and Spike. and then we kind of went from there. We kept hosting. We got into Battlefy. We hosted another $1,000 tournament. Um, brought in more Tier 3 teams. We kept hosting those events over and
Mm.
over again. We spent into Europe, Asia, on our way to Latin America, and we've just
That's
been kind
crazy.
of expanding really
Latin
quickly.
America
And
as well. When's this
yeah, yeah,
happening?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, I wish I could give you time. We originally had the plans to
Mm.
start the journey there in 2023.
Yep,
And then as we expanded, it was like, oh, hold on. The language barrier is different. I think in,
it's
in
true.
Asia,
Yeah.
I can get away with speaking English exclusively. My staff obviously speaks Hindi as well because that's like the second
Mm.
most popular language in the region. It's pretty convenient for talking to
Yep.
teams. But in Latin America, so many people I talk to them, hey, what's up going on? They's like no English, and I'm like, okay, well, great, that's fun, that's awesome. So recruiting Spanish staff has been a lot more difficult than we thought.
Mm.
And the funny thing is, that's just half of the region. The other half in Brazil speaks Portuguese, and so it's like
Yeah, that is
recruiting
a big
staff and
problem.
moving things there has been difficult.
Hmm.
I've been having to bring up casters who also speak Spanish, getting observers, and building up that team is taking a lot longer than I thought. Right now,
Yep.
we're looking at February. It all depends on kind of the demand there. I know there's a lot of people in that scene who want to play in tournaments and they want to enjoy stuff. We've been partnering with some teams in the region to kind of start to figure out,
Mm.
oh, what's the standards, what's the rule sets, what we need to know. But I think once we get there, it's gonna be kind of dope. We're gonna be in four different regions. Once we hit, I
Yep.
think once we finish, once we get to Brazil, I think we'll be hosting tournaments in the most regions out of all these different Valorant
Ooh.
POs we work
Wow.
with. I don't know. One Esports has the title right now. I think they're in Asia, North America. I think
Mm.
I think they're in Brazil. No, not Brazil, Latin America. So they got three. We're tied with them right now. But once we get to five, I think we'll take the title, the international PO. That's the goal.
So you basically want to be a worldwide tournament organizer. That sounds really impressive. Um, you better get on Duolingo then, I guess.
Oh no, I have to. I mean, I've been getting lucky. I've met a lot of
Mm.
talented people who speak English, but I know at some point I'm gonna be like limited by the fact that I only speak English. I only like most of my directors only speak English, and
Yeah.
so I've been learning Spanish, been starting to work on that because I
Mm.
imagine that's gonna be uh like even in Europe too. Like I imagine like it's gonna be pretty useful to have that on my belt.
Yeah.
Um, I'm hoping that I can keep the majority of people in my company English speaking, just so meetings work easier. But I
Mm.
imagine that getting the experience in other
Yep.
languages wouldn't hurt.
True. It is the second most spoken language in the world. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
always good to
yeah.
know. I mean, I'm trying to learn it
Exactly.
myself. So yeah. But yeah, it's So you want to become a worldwide company, but may I ask, why not focus on just a few regions?
The biggest reason we want to focus on all these different regions is because it gives us a chance to, make, I guess, take this bigger, make something bigger than just what's going on in one region right now.
Mm.
Because a lot of what TOs do is, they'll get in NA or they'll get in Europe and then they'll camp. They won't do anything new. They'll sit on their ass and just host their weekly or monthly events and then just sit there. We kind of have the opportunity now to put on international competitions. We have the opportunity now to bring in the winners from all across the world and have these, have them compete against each other. There's a
Yeah.
lot of companies who want to do big things in esports, but don't have the apparatus or ability to do that outside of Riot. And once we become an international TO, we're able to go to someone like hypothetically Intel and say, hey, you want to put on a
Mm.
worldwide competition? We can host new qualifiers in any region, any language, all of this, broadcast in any
Ooh.
language, at any time. Tournaments going on at any time. We have partners across the world. Let's make this happen. Is a lot bigger pitch than me than saying, hey, I'm the biggest TO in not even the biggest. I'm the second biggest TO in North America. Let's do something. And that just sounds a lot less
Mm.
impressive to me because we could definitely double down on the North American tier 3 scene. We could definitely just
Yeah.
say, hey, you know what? we'll shift all the marbles and do it. We'll just
Mm.
take over and go. But I don't know. I think there's something bigger that we could do, and I think once we get to some of our other games we want to hit as well, the idea
Yep.
of being an international multi-game TO, it just feels like the way we can start to move the scene forward, and you know, bring a lot of people into the esports that wouldn't be getting into it otherwise.
Mm. And since you want to become a worldwide tournament organizer as well, what about other games?
Yeah, yeah. I think
Okay.
in terms of other games, Apex, League of Legends, the finals. Um, what was the last one we were thinking about?
CS:GO.
No, that's a funny thing too. We were considering
Oh,
it, but the
okay.
board was like unanimously like, "Yo, CS:GO kind of mid. We don't." The board's not mine. I was CS:GO is pretty good, but I don't know. I think
Mm.
CS:GO is on its way out. And I don't really like
Ooh.
to hop on dying ships. Sinking
Mm.
ships. Not really fan to hop
Y-
onto that. I think Apex is in the same category. I don't think Apex is doing that good either. I think they're all on the downward trend, but I think that they're a little bit more unique than CS:GO, I guess. Because
yeah.
CS:GO, every CS:GO player can just hop into Valorant right now and know what they're doing.
Mm.
Like they could easily
Yep.
if you're a top player in CS:GO, you're an immortal in Valorant, no sweat. But Apex
Mm.
is unique in the sense that the only other game that offers a similar experience is Fortnite, and
And it's
a
not
lot of
the
people are
same. Yeah.
yeah, it's not the same. It's just they're just both battle royales.
Mm.
And so with Apex being unique and not really like interesting, a unique concept, we're kind of thinking,
True.
hey, if we're gonna pick an esport to get into, let's hit Apex so that we can kind of offer
Mm.
something to all these different players. Um, Rocket League is what we're considering, but Rocket League's TO policies are ridiculous. I thought Valorant was bad. You can't
Oh, for
offer
real?
entry fees on Rocket League events like at all. I'm pretty sure there's like oh my. I think there's like some rules about whether you can collaborate with teams or not. Pretty sure you have to make the sign like I don't even think you can host invitationals. I think like there's some stupid stuff. I think we looked at the rule book and then we unanimously were like, yeah, this is dumb. We're not gonna do this. I think if we're gonna come into Rocket League, it'd be after we've got into League of Legends and Apex.
Mm.
Um, because um when it comes to talking about the rules, we don't really have any influence in Rocket League right now, and we don't really have, in
Yep.
terms of compared to a lot of the other TOs, we don't have too much influence, like compared to them. And so, if we were to go to friggin' Epic and say, "Hey, can we get this rule changed?" They wouldn't care. If, however, if 2025 we came back around and let's say now we're international, we're on these different games, and we come back
Mm.
to like Epic and say, "Hey, we're gonna put on this event. It's not gonna be within this rule. Can we get an exception?" Much more likely to make
Yeah,
that happen.
true. Mm.
Mhm.
They're not gonna care about some smaller TO. That's what Epic Games are
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
sadly. Yeah. I do agree with you
Hmm.
on the Apex part as well. I do think Apex is one of those games, but I don't think it will ever die, really. And the main reason I see
Mm.
that as a game that won't die is because it's always dying and then going back up, you know? It's
Mm.
one of those games that will never like be the best game in the world, but it's one of those games that will like plateau. It will
Yeah.
have a solid like fan base.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Apex will ever die.
Hey, that's a bold claim. I mean, six
Hmm.
years. 6 years it's been around now. Six, 7. Um,
Yeah.
it's been around. It's been doing all right. I mean, I don't think that if Apex were to die, there'd be a huge splash. That's a thing. I don't think like if let's say CS:GO collapsed. There's millions of dollars in CS:GO right now.
True.
Like there's
Yeah.
like Face It, ESL, massive organizations in CS:GO. I
Hmm.
think CS:GO's got a solid 5 years on it left, a minimum, but easily could
Yep.
go to the decade. Um, Apex, I think Apex will it could last longer. It could outlast it. I think
Hmm.
it's gonna last longer, but then like it's gonna be a little less significant. It it's
Yep.
gonna be when its last leg isn't gonna be like um what's it called? EA doing something stupid and then everyone leaving. Its
Hmm.
last leg is gonna be, well, oh, you heard of Apex? Oh, I haven't played that game in like 5 years, man. Like that
Yeah.
kind of yeah. Like I think CS:GO is gonna get like blown up by like Valve. They're gonna do something dumb. They're gonna do something dumb, piss all the pros off, and hop into Valorant. If you make a prediction, then they're gonna like
Mm,
mess. They're finally gonna piss the community off too much, and they're gonna be like, I'm done with this. I'm hopping over to another game that has an esport that people care about.
yeah, yeah. I feel like the thing is about CS:GO, it's like the chess of esports,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like one of the grandfathers of esports games. But I don't think it could be
Yeah.
killed off. I really
Mhm.
don't. It's like it's too sentimental of people, and people are too used to like the whole game style. There's a lot of pros that didn't switch to Valorant,
Mhm.
so it's still got a huge scene. I don't think I feel like a big thing about Valorant that you know pulls people away from like moving to the game
Mhm.
is the abilities. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think people want just precise gunplay because in Valorant, of course, abilities don't kill, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, they
I
don't. They don't kill at all. Yeah. Here comes the party. Like
can't believe they said that. Like it was like,
that
oh
was
yeah, mm,
they're trying to appeal to CS:GO players with that. They're trying to be like,
true.
"Oh yeah, don't worry, there is precise gunplay in here," and then you get blown up by rays with 2 grenades. That was what were they thinking? That was that was
That was not the tweet.
the dumbest point in time I think in Valorant history. But I don't know. The reason I don't see CS:GO I guess having the longest term success. I could see it as a game. I don't see
Yep.
it like dying. Like, as a game, as an esport, I see it kind of fading a bit, especially
Hmm.
because the new generation coming up, they're not seeing the CS:GO. They're not going and being like, oh, look at this
Okay. Yeah.
game with
True.
pretty dusty
Hmm.
graphics here.
Yeah.
Let me hop into this. People are say, hey, wow, look at these flashy Fortnite. I'm gonna look at this build montage here of this kid spinning his controller over and over again. I love that. The interest and wider public care about the game
Hmm.
is gonna fade. I think the game
Yep.
itself will last until whoever is playing the game dies. I think we're gonna see
Hmm.
50 years from later, you're gonna be like, Grandpa, what's this game on your computer? Oh yeah, yeah. That's
Not
the
that video, man. Oh no.
but yeah, nah. CS:GO is kind of be CS:GO is gonna kind of last a while, as you
Hmm.
said, because I mean, a lot of sentimental value is one of the
Yep.
grandfathers of esports. But the investment, the public interest, it's gonna move, and I think Valorant is gonna take it, especially because in terms of competitive tactical
Yep.
shooters, there's no other competition right now.
Hmm.
Actually, I didn't want to ask you. Have you heard about the finals? What do you kind of think about that?
The finals of.
Oh, the finals, like the game called the
Oh,
finals.
I've never heard of finals. No, I don't think I
Oh,
have.
you have. Oh my gosh,
Oh
really? Yeah,
no.
it's making the rounds. That's why I said yeah, it's one of the games we're moving into. They recently they finished their beta a couple months back, and then they
Hmm.
full launched in December, and it's just been getting acclaim everywhere. It was called the Apex Killer. Bold statement, but yeah,
Hmm.
it's been making the rounds in NA a lot. Um, a lot of the companies I'm talking to, not companies, organizations I've been talking to have been considering getting into it.
Yep.
Got a couple new partners I can't wait to announce there, but it's a game you should definitely check out. It has it's like if COD and Overwatch had a baby, and then the entire terrain was just destructible. It's like what Rainbow Six wishes it could be.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
It kind of
but
sounds like Fortnite a bit in
It,
a
it's a
sense.
it's the only thing is that you can't build. There's no building
Yeah.
at all. Yeah, so it's like it's I guess I can see the kind of comparison to Fortnite, but the
Hmm.
gunplay is so different. Like, and
Okay.
I shoot the guns. It's like it's not old COD, but it's like more new
Hmm.
COD. I had an old COD player I was talking to. I said, "This is like COD." He almost beat me up because like this isn't the COD I grew up with. No, and I'm like, I'm like, okay, okay, calm down. Talking about the COD released this decade, old man. But but yeah, so
Hmm.
yeah, that's kind of the games we're looking at right now. Genuinely could change. I could easily see some other games popping up some more.
Yeah.
And we're not really constrained. We're not like this isn't like an emotional connection to any of those 3 other games. Valorant is the game we've always started with,
Hmm.
so we'll forever have a kind of start there and kind of like
I got a
connection there, and
question.
I care about the same. Yeah.
So that being said, what things do you reckon Valorant will do to become top one? What do you reckon are the key things Valorant could do to become top one in
Well,
the
I don't
scene?
think I think if Valorant continues with the path of franchising it chose, I think it's going to be difficult to get to the top one spot.
True.
I mean, I think it can be possible, but it's going to be difficult. I think the number one way Valorant can hit that top spot, can become the number one esport, is if they really tap into collegiate. Like think about high school, college, NFL football, like American
Yep.
football. I'm not sure if it's like that. Um, you go through school, you know, you get scouted, you get picked up to a team,
Mm.
you move through there, and then you eventually you hopefully move up. You get into the minor leagues. You hopefully get to play on a team, and the path to the NFL is through the colleges and institutions. Those institutions have a lot of money, they have a lot of sway, they have a lot of people interested in them, and these institutions don't disappear. So when you see a college team, you're like, okay, cool. I'm a fan of this team. I'm following them, watching
Mm.
their games. They're not like an independent tier three org who can
Yeah.
disappear and reappear in 2 days. Um, and if Valorant's able to tap into that collegiate scene and get some more of that institutional money flowing in, it's where we can start to see more sustainability. It's where we can see a lot more,
Mm.
a lot more people outside of the game getting
Yep.
interested. Like imagine you're going to school and you just see, oh yeah, the Valorant team is meeting in room 103.
That's
Tryouts today.
That's
Yeah.
already a thing in the UK as well. A lot
Yeah,
of UK colleges are starting to do that. There's like a whole British esports like society and everything.
yeah.
It's
Oh
the
yeah,
same thing for Rocket
we're
League as well. Mm.
yeah, we're starting to see that, but I think it can get farther. It can get bigger. It's like dipping our toes in there right now. You know, we're kind
Okay.
of like I feel like oh, you know what? Oh, this looks kind of cool. And I'm just gonna maybe uh, but I think that when we start to see stadiums sell out, we start to
mm.
see people like oh, it's this school's team versus this school team, and it's on the news and like maybe in high school you're like oh hold on the tryouts for these different teams are they're up posted in friggin' the I don't know the chapel or whatever they post over their school, and then people who never heard of the game before like oh sure I'm gonna give this a
Yep.
try. And when we get to that point, I think Valorant will become the number one esport. No other esport's been able to do that successfully right now. You mentioned Rocket League in the UK, I imagine, did that.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
right.
Mhm. But Valorant would be on another level if they're able to do that, especially internationally.
Mm.
Jeez, it'd be over. I don't think there's a single other esport to be able to compete besides there are other esport League of Legends.
True. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to the league right now. I feel like league is dying. I think Worlds will eventually die at some point. I feel like you said about CS:GO, I think League is slowly dying at the same rate as CS:GO because
Mhm.
no one really wants to play League. But
I think
yeah.
League it's so hard to enter. The barrier to entry to
Mm.
that game is so steep. I could look at a Valorant game, and even if I've never played a shooter before, oh, the blue guy shot the red guy, and then he won. That was
Yeah.
it. In League, it's like, what the hell is that? He's spinning, and now, oh, okay, they're dead, and oh, they're revived, they're back. Oh wait, what are these
mm.
little minion guys walking around? And like they it's so confusing. The skill floor is really high, and we're never gonna be able to see a league team just be at the school and be like, "Hey guys, anyway, come play league." Like you see like I don't know, like a high school kid, like 10, like a grade 10, like
mm.
he just got at a third period, go into the auditorium and then just like a
Yeah.
bunch of sweaty league players there. Like that's not happening.
The problem with League is there's no like tier 3 scene for League. League there's no like yeah, like you said, there's no like gateway into the scene. Like
Mhm,
Valorant does this really well. There's teams out there who want to recruit League, but because you have to pay so much money to actually get into like worlds and stuff and enter all these big
mhm,
tournaments, there's no actual big tournaments out there by many tournament organizers for like the tier 3 scene or tier 2 scene. It's like there's no way.
mhm.
You just have to be good or you're not. It's one of those right now.
Yeah. The thing is, that's a funny thing too. League is Valorant in 5 years if they don't fix their tier 3 tech, like tier 2
True.
scene. If nothing changed in that scene,
Hmm.
that is Valorant in 5, 10 years. If listen, they didn't get into collegiate, they didn't get into high school, these
Yeah.
institutions didn't bite, and they continue on the path they're going franchising. That's Valorant. That's Valorant in 5 or 10
Hmm.
years. There's no tier 3 scene. There's no real free to enter tournaments. Although all of them left, they're all gone. They don't do that anymore. The
Yeah.
only there's the only way to get in is through Premiere, and you have to beat everybody else to even have a chance. And you're not gonna get paid a cent until you even touch challengers. And even when you get to challengers, like all the different like there's hundreds of thousands of millions of players that want that spot more than you. And so you have to fight all these guys. No, like there's no money coming in there. The sponsors aren't really throwing too much into any independent event. Like it's just that's kind of the nightmare scenario where Valorant doesn't learn from their mistakes in League. I think they are. They're genuinely
Hmm.
smart and they genuinely know
Yeah.
what they're doing. But let us see.
True. Or we could end up like team fight tactics. But yeah, I really don't know
That'd
what's going
be.
on with that game. It's like League of Legends, but like it's younger brother or something. I don't know what's going on with it. It doesn't
Oh
make any
my gosh.
sense. Like, what was the point of it?
Oh no, I think it was it's when you're burned out of League, but you still want to play League. That's team fight tactics.
Have you played
Oh
it?
jeez.
I haven't played it.
Yeah. It's like an auto battler. It's like you're playing chess but stupid.
Oh my.
And I liked it before, and then they changed all the people, and then I was like, why? And
Oh.
I kind of left that. I think my brother plays it, but I
Hmm.
couldn't get into it.
That's fair. What about any fighting games? Because like with all the the fighting game regulations and stuff, and like Nintendo, going after like Smash Bros. Are you interested in getting into any fighting games with Crunch?
Respectfully, screw them all. Respectfully, though,
Oh.
all of them. The barrier to entry to these games is unreal. The amount of interest in these games is minuscule. If you want to talk about esports companies that don't know what they're doing, every fighting game company doesn't know what they're doing. We see these events just bomb. Not even half. Like literally, the Smash killed its scene for the memes. There's no reason, no effect to their bottom line. They're like, nah, that's too good. We can't have that. Smited it, and now we see
Hmm.
like friggin' Street. You think I'm gonna be bringing out 100,000 people to watch Street Fighter? Like, you think I'm gonna be bringing out 100,000 people to like, hey guys, let's watch some Tekken, bro. Hey,
Hmm.
there's no there the we talk about like League of Legends having a hard barrier to entry. Get comboed by someone in one of those games you don't know how to play, and you're like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm not doing this.
Hmm.
Maybe it's just my perspective. Maybe just the people
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been
yeah.
around, the content creators, and the side of the internet I've been on. But
What about
like
Smash?
nah, that's what I'm telling you, bro. Why would I go
Not
into a
Tekken,
game
not
that
Tekken or
this
Street Fighter.
but Smash is like the best of the bunch, but it's the bar is in hell, bro. Like Smash barely crawls over this bar that's on the ground. And the game company that owns it is trying to kill its scene. I could never
Hmm.
invest into hosting events when they actively don't want me to, you know?
The thing
Like
is, right, as long as you have a license, you're allowed to put tournaments out. But yeah, and a lot of them are able to get licenses. Like, let's say if Crunch was so big, right, yeah, that you'd be able to get a license easily. You'd be able to sponsor. You'd have sponsors. You could sell food and drinks, like Nintendo allows you to. Um, but
why you
yeah,
gotta acquire a license though?
I find that really weird. I find that odd. Okay. Um, but what's it called? There's certain requirements that you don't have to have a license for. But I feel like the scene in Smash is quite strong. I'd say. I feel like it's quite closely knit, and it's really good if you want to do LAN events. It's one of
I think
those.
that's Smash is the best of the fighting games. If I was to
Hmm.
consider one, it'd be Smash. But I don't know. I just think that in terms of just where the best chance of like getting value out of it and getting people interested in it, Smash isn't there. It's also because the only way you can play Smash is if you want to Switch, and that barrier to entry alone
Well,
excludes.
you say that,
Mhm.
but you can be on the emulator now because now there's like breakthroughs, so you can now be on this have you heard of Slippy or something? It's
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
like
yeah, I've heard.
it's like net play.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get to play it online against other people like using like a GameCube emulator. So you can play
But
Melee online with anyone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the thing is, that isn't like something that the average person is gonna pick up and be like, "I want to do
Mm.
this." Most and thing is, at the events, I'm pretty sure you can't even do that either. I can't. I can't have an event. I think they destroyed this melee event that ran a mod. That wasn't the official copy of the game, just
Oh,
running a
Project
mod.
M. Project M.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like, if I were to try to host an event, everybody who's gonna participate has to have a Switch. Generally, most of the time,
Hmm.
and what the majority people who are looking at, just playing, they're on their computer, whatever their laptop, and they're looking at what game to play.
Yep.
Smash is a high entry cost to them, I guess. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not to say the Smash community isn't one of the top ones, but from my perspective, in terms of a global esport that I'm going
Yep.
to be effectively selling to boomers, selling to
Hmm.
older people, selling to millennials,
True.
selling to all these people, I don't want to be Smash's salesman. that's not
That's
a
fair.
that's not a job. That's not a job I
Hmm.
want to do. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess I can see your point because the numbers aren't always the highest. So you have to
Mhm.
normally when you speak to those people, you're like, oh, you got to show them numbers. Really, it's
Yeah,
more
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, not what it looks like. It's more like what the numbers are. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess I as I said, I wouldn't stop any
Hmm.
esports org from going into that, especially hosting
Yeah.
teams and players and stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not teams, it's only players, not teams. But as a tournament organizer, and guess
mm.
with my aim of going global and really trying to,
Yep.
take esports to the next level, it's kind of not on my path, you know?
Hmm. That's
Um,
fair.
but yeah, yeah.
What about Fortnite? I would never be a Fortnite tournament organizer. I just can't stand the community. Like I wouldn't mind like signing like the odd player or something to my team,
Mhm,
but I can't imagine a Fortnite tournament. Like the whole drama about
mhm.
one tournament would be, he dropped on me. I can't believe he dropped on me. Like, why would he go to the same location? That's like the biggest beef that Fortnite has had for ages. And that's what annoys me
Mhm.
about the scenes. Like they cry about the simplest of things.
Oh yeah, the thing is about
Mm.
the Fortnite scene, it's the youngest player base. So you
Yeah.
have all these competitive games,
Mm.
and I can't say that. I was gonna say I don't hate kids, but I strongly dislike people younger than 18.
mm.
Is that good? Is oh man, if I had to
Oh
like
my.
pick who I was dealing with all day,
Mm.
like imagine my day. I wake up,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
having a good day, get out of class, I open up my computer and then I say, okay, cool, the
Mm.
tournament's about to start, and then just a bunch of kids. Just a bunch of
True.
kids. Said foot ping. At Josh, where's the entry button? At Josh, this kid twerked on me. At Josh, our emotes banned. Okay, I don't care. I'm done. I'm not we're not doing that.
yeah.
I'm not a babysitter, and you couldn't pay
Mm.
me to do that. Not funny. Hey, maybe
That's
as you
fair.
said, the odd. I could definitely see myself throwing on the odd Fortnite tournament with one of my partners, or
Mm.
having a player who plays Fortnite sign under my org. But
Yeah.
Fortnite TL, not a title I want.
True. I feel like they ruined it for themselves, to be honest.
Actually, if you think ruined it, I mean, I think they got the money. Think about it. They are
Mm.
the biggest. They're one of the biggest games on the face of the earth right now. Second to Minecraft, maybe.
Not
They
no, I wouldn't
have.
say no. What I mean is not the Fortnite Epic Games. I'm talking about like the player base. They ruin it for other people to get into it. If
Oh.
you know what I
Oh
mean.
yeah. Oh
Hmm.
yeah. Oh yeah. But the thing is, they're not old enough. A lot of them to think about the wider scene. They're just thinking
True.
about what they can do to have a fun time or enjoy themselves, or
Hmm.
oh, we'll start this org. The amount of Fortnite orgs I've seen go, disappear,
Yeah.
reappear, buy, merge. I wouldn't even put any money in there if I was a company and I was like trying to promote a project. It's just so, but at the same time, it's not about, I guess, building a scene to them, It's just about having
Hmm.
fun. And I guess I can respect that a little bit. I mean, Epic Games is making a crap ton of money, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're 100% right. They're their biggest enemy.
Hmm. It's true. They just complain and complain. Like they bring back the map and everyone's like, can we get rid of it? Can we get rid of the old map now? We don't want it. Like, you literally complained about it for 2 chapters. I don't get it.
No, bring it back. Bring it. No, 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 no! Don't bring it. Leave it. Leave it. Go forward, forward. No, no, no. This new map sucks. Let's go back. Go back again. And I'm like, nah, it's nah.
Hmm.
I can only imagine, man. Like, especially in Europe. This is nothing. No shade to Europe, but I think that in NA, the kids chirp and the players chirp all the time, but it's a little less quieter. But I
Yeah.
think the first time I got into one of my like I think I was hosting $1,000 European tournament, and I was in the lobby, like getting ready to get things set up, and these two teams join. I hear this British get on there, oi, just oi, and then just started going off on this other team, like mid set. This is like the score's 1-0, and you're just going off, and then all these matches are going on. And this German dude, this British guy. Oh
Oh
my
my.
gosh. Like, oh, dog, y'all yap the most. You gotta be.
It's true. It's true. I can't even deny it, man.
I can imagine British Fortnite kids must be another kind of demon.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not fun, man. It's not fun. Um yeah, they are a strange bunch. But what's the call? I feel like I don't know. I feel like the thing is with Fortnite orgs is the problem is they don't actually put much effort into content. They just think, oh, we're gonna sign a
Yeah,
player, look what we got, and then they have proceed to have the most generic logos, the most generic
yeah,
banners. Like you see them, be like, oh, that's a Fortnite team. Like you could tell because of
yeah,
the style of the
yeah,
banners, the style of the logos. Like it's like the design. It's such a simple design that everyone uses. I don't know what. I
yeah.
swear they use the same editor for each one.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I swear, my friend, a friend of mine, he recently disbanded and he started working with their team. He
Hmm.
sent me this Discord server, and I looked at that and I'm like, bro, did you just join a Fortnite team? It's that same style. Like I can't
Yeah.
explain it because it's not simple, but it's like so common that it's simple. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
there's so many of them. It's like so basic.
Yeah.
It has this banner and it has like this. They'll have all these different shapes and different patterns and
Hmm.
stuff in the
Oh
background,
man.
but it looks so samey. It looks so similar. Like
And they
there's like
got that logo with like the you know that special logo where you have all the letters hidden in the shapes?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Every org has it. I swear, every
Mhm.
org.
Yeah, they'll always have like this and the names too. The
Hmm.
names. Like you'll have like I think oh my gosh, I'll see a name. Like no shade to Awaken. When I hear the
Oh.
name Awaken,
Hmm.
it's like hey bro, that's a Fortnite org. And then I joined the server and who what is that a Fortnite team? That's crazy. Who could have guessed? That's insane.
The
So
thing is
yeah, I
about
don't know.
most Fortnite orgs is that
Mhm.
they will proceed to go with the most generic names ever. Like they won't pick
Yeah.
like just a name, like a
Mhm.
unique name. They'll pick like Dogbone GG or something, or like they'll open up the English dictionary and go, oh, what word can I pick? What word is it taken on Instagram? And it'd be
Mhm.
something like TV or like
Um,
TV esports, or it'd be like, oh, what's another good one?
oh my
It's just
gosh, I think
any adjective. Define an adjective and like go, oh, clarity.
yeah.
There we go. There's a Fortnite org.
Oh, your clarity. Oh my gosh, I can hear it now. I can see the logo. It's like a C, and then like
Yeah,
it's a white C, and then they got like this like blue like weird like waves in the
I've
background.
literally seen an org that looks exactly like that. There was orgs that exist like that.
Dog, nah, I got all the beef for Fortnite orgs, man. Because
Hmm.
they it pisses me off because we talking to this dude and you're like, wow, he seems like he knows what he's talking about, and then he'll
Yeah,
send me his Discord server, and I'm like, come on, man.
it
I
does annoy
can't
me,
work
man.
with you. I can't work with you, bro.
So,
No. If
question:
yeah.
do you think you'll ever have Fortnite orgs on your CICP?
Mm, there's one clause that I'd ever consider
Okay.
adding a Fortnite org to my Crunch International competitive partnership. Um, is if they add money. That's it. That's my
Hmm.
clause. I'll be very transparent with you. Mm.
That's fair enough.
If they got
Hmm.
bans, I do not care. Because if they do, it means one of three things. Number one, they're not a kid because
Yep.
kids don't have money. Number
True.
two, it means that they're vaguely competent. You can't really have
Mm.
money and like be like super incompetent. They can be
Yeah.
stupid sometimes, but they're not going to be like they're not
Mm.
incredibly dumb. And number three, it also means that they've been here for a little while. Unless this is
Yep.
someone's parent just throwing all the money at them, or a person who has like a crap ton of money for no reason, just saying I'm going to start a Fortnite org. They've generally been around for a bit, and that's
Mm.
why has a lot of money is like my exception for bringing in
Yeah.
Fortnite
Yeah.
orgs. Because otherwise, you're just you're probably like a person who's 16
Mm-hmm.
years old on your
Yep.
seventh org now in the last 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
trying to start something up. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. My next question is, well, why did you add Blue Skirmish to the CICP? Nah, nah, I'm
Oh my
joking. I'm
gosh!
joking. We talked about this question before. Nah, I'm joking.
Yeah, you were talking about like, hey Josh, man, if you spring the "Why did you choose me?" question on me, I'm gonna be so mad. Oh my gosh.
It just
But
came to me
yeah,
whilst you talk about the Fortnite orcs.
I can actually answer that question though, because it was a very unique reason
Okay.
why we picked Blue Skirmish. Because it was like I saw a person who's expanding into all these different niches and all these
Hmm.
different things, and I was like, that's someone I want to bring on. That's someone with ideas. Not many people with ideas right now who are actually willing to get stuff done. The
Hmm.
Blue Oasis network, I call it. You got Blue Skirmish, Oasis, got Team Oasis, Troposcope, the Oasis Podcast,
Hmm.
all those different branches, and I'm like, that's
Yep.
someone I want to work with. That's someone who like I have a lot in common with because like I like to do all these different projects, like to get all these different things
Hmm.
started. And I was like, okay, cool, Blue Skirmish, let's hit it. That's the goal. And that's
True.
then obviously now we're here and I'm on your podcast. But yeah, that was kind of the reasoning because
Hmm.
it was unique. Like most people,
Yeah. Yeah.
as I said, they just pick a game, they pick a region, and they
Hmm.
camp. But you were like trying to do a lot of different things at the same time, and I respect that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just got bored. I guess that sounds really weird, but like, what's it called? I've got too much time on my hands. So what's it called? Not too much money, but I've got too much time, and that's the annoying part. Is like there's only so much I can do with that time. So much I could
Mm.
do with money, but time wise, I've I could do a lot of things with Blue Skirmish. I'd be sat by myself like waiting for the next Blue Skirmish tournament, and suddenly I was like, well, during that time I was like, I want to get a tournament out in between. I was like, I like to interact with the community, and like it was a faster way to grow, of course. So we was like, oh, what can we do? Well, originally we started with 2v2, so I was like, oh, bring back Blue Skirmish, because Blue Skirmish yet and make it like instead 20 minutes long. But yeah, which is what
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did.
yeah. Hmm.
But we are planning on bringing back the scrim version. We are blue scrims, and that will
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like
yeah.
a 5v5, like free to play, no prize, but just practice every Thursday. I think that's coming back next month, so I'm looking forward to bringing that back.
It's gonna be pretty good,
Hmm.
especially for getting teams involved, getting
Yeah.
more building up a community there. I think a lot of teams would be
Hmm.
excited because scrims suck a lot of the time. And
True.
meeting teams is scrim, especially when there's a lot of shady
Hmm.
characters running around and canceling scrims
Yeah.
and yeah. But yeah, that's a good idea, man. I'm pretty excited with that. Imagine there's a lot of plans you
Hmm.
got with Blue Skirmish that I couldn't leak on the pod or you'd kill me. But
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
hmm. I mean, I've got some I can leak, of course. I mean, I've already leaked it on Twitter. I think I mentioned Skirmish 24. Did I mention Skirmish 24 to you? Um.
I think you did. Yeah, I think you might have.
Oh yeah, it's the Liquipedia Blue Skirmish tournament. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I wanted to do one a few months ago. No, not a few months ago. I wanted to do one last year in April, and it was for Gold Skirmish, but Gold Skirmish didn't qualify because you have to have 500 euros in the prize pool. But
Mhm,
this time I want to have like I'm aiming for €1,000 prize pool.
mhm.
And during the time, I also want to team up with a like a Smash player as well to get another Smash tournament out. So I want to do two tournaments: one Valorant, one Smash. So
Yeah.
it's really hard, like keeping Oasis and Blue Skirmish like balancing at the same time. Because
Yeah.
before Blue Skirmish, right, it was Oasis around before, and when Blue Skirmish came around, I was like, well, I don't have enough money to run Oasis at the same time as Blue Skirmish because I wanted to grow it. and that's why it got bigger than Oasis for a short amount of time. But then what's it called, as Oasis Esports came back, it was like, oh, it was the balancing part, that's the annoying thing.
Yeah. Honestly, I get that a lot, especially when I'm like talking between different
Mm.
regions and stuff, balancing the regions and like balancing my focus. That's why that's why a lot of people talk about like the dangers of running multiple projects where you gotta,
Yeah.
balance how much time you're putting in this and how much effort you're putting there.
Mm.
Um and honestly, I think that you've been done a pretty good job of that. Um you've done a pretty good job of balancing how much time is put into different guess these different projects, and
Mm.
you've been pushing things forward there a lot. um I guess at the end of the day we'll see how it works out. I'm excited for blue skirmishes plans for 2024. um and I think a lot of stuff in European Val is going to start looking cooler.
Mm.
It used to be pretty dead in 2023. Like there
True.
was a lot
Like,
of
we were literally
yeah
the only ones. We were the only ones in the
yeah
scene.
there's a lot more tournament picking up. See the Reynas starting their own massive tournament. I know Crunch is starting to run our own stuff there. EVC,
Yep.
they're running their third season of the league.
We're
Oh,
playing.
obviously, yeah. How you guys in there? Oh my, you guys better sweep. I can't have like I can't be like I know those guys. They're like, you know those guys, Josh? They just got 2-0'd. They lost bad. Like,
He
I can't.
doesn't
I
know
can't.
them. He doesn't know them.
Oh, I didn't know them. Actually, that was my bad. I wasn't talking about Oasis. I was talking about who won.
Oasis Gaming.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Oasis Gaming. Yeah. So yeah, you guys better win that. I'm counting on y'all
Mm.
there. But I think European scene is looking better, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can start to see some more European
Mm.
events. Especially with Challengers is running pretty well this year. I'm liking how they're
Yeah.
organizing things there. I think it's off to a good start. I just hoping to see
Hmm.
more growth in the scene.
Yeah. I think this is moving on to my next question actually, and that is about esports stream productions. Wait 1 second,
Mhm.
man. I keep seeing you drink water. I need to make myself some water, man. I've been sat here like for like 57 minutes, and you've just been torturing me with this water, man. 1 second.
Yeah, man. Hey, you want the water? Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm back. And
Awesome.
guess what as well? Guess what? You can barely see it, but like it's starting to like lose its kind of texture. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've had it for a few years now. But
That's dope, bro.
mm,
Honestly.
as you
I
can see in the
gotta get
welcome.
myself a Crunch water bottle.
But yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I just don't even use reusable water bottles. I got like a pack of like
Mm.
30 of these, and then I just like put them in the corner over there and then just grab them. But hey.
I had to flex hard after being like tortured with your water, man. I can't believe it,
I,
man. You're just like.
yeah. Oh yeah, hey, that's water. Oh yeah, that water. Hey, that's crazy. But yeah, as you talked about with esports stream
Mm.
productions, I got a lot of hot takes there. And number one is that everybody thinks like they're the next VCT. They think they're the
True.
next. They
Yep.
think they're the next big event, and so I'll see their production, and it'll be the bum faces versus Joe and the boys, and they'll have like this massive
Average blue
overlay, and
skirmish stream.
they'll have like all these different banners, and the casters
Mm.
will be in boxes, and they'll be like, Sweetie guy,
Mm.
we're here for an amazing match. I'm like, cut the bull crap, bro. Ain't
I
nobody
enjoy it though.
cares.
I quite enjoy the extremeness of it.
I know, but at the same time, it's like I'd be like, can we just like be real, bro? This
Mm.
dude is sweeping the floor with his crosshair. Like, can we talk about like this guy? Like,
Mm.
can we keep it a buck 50? Can we be so for real right now?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
so that's kind of it's my
That's
take.
why
I think that
that's why
go ahead,
at
sir.
Blue Skirmish we've always streamed at quarterfinals because it
Mhm.
we get to the players where you're more likely going to see a fight or you see like a big like tier 3 to tier 2 team actually take the stage. It's one of
Yeah.
those things. I feel like you shouldn't do it from the start. I'd say it depends on the
Mhm.
prize pool. I think you're gonna get bigger teams and small teams depending on what you set. Entry fees are a really good way for determining the skill of the teams as well. So if you have an
Yeah,
entry
yeah.
fee, 90% of the time the players are gonna be good because they know the risk.
Oh, of course, of course. I
Mm.
think that I haven't run into this problem as much as of late, especially because I really only stream like the finals or semifinals, and
Yeah.
usually those two teams are pretty good. But overall, I don't know what how we stream esports events has got to change because for players and people who don't know these teams, it's got to be engaging to them. And VCT is because
Hmm.
these are the best of the best.
Yep.
These are teams that people know, regular people know. My friends will say, "Hey, you see, friggin' Sentinels play yesterday. Average guy doesn't even play Valorant, but for tier 3 and tier 2 especially, streams got to change. And if I had to
Mm.
see one more of these like, oh my gosh, look at this amazing play, and this guy just shooting
Mm.
a headshot, and you're just like, dog, I do that. Like this guy plays in my lobbies, I guarantee. I don't know. A lot of other esports don't have this problem. I think CS:GO is pretty good with production. I like CS:GO's productions a lot. It's also a lot easier to
Mm.
follow because CS:GO is a lot simpler. That's one
Yep.
of the biggest advantages it has over Valorant. Um, I don't
Mm.
know. Smash production, I love it. I don't know what it is. There's not too many. You don't really see too many amateur Smash players, like
True.
I guess like
Yep.
bad Smash players on the big screen. You'll usually get to see
Mm.
some amazing plays, and it's usually really fun to watch. I'm also a Smash player, so I get to I
Let's
can
go.
understand it a bit more. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of curious. What's your kind of take on esports stream production?
I would say, to be honest, mine's the opposite to you actually, because I feel like not enough people use and take advantage of like the stream production. I feel like there's a lot of
Mm.
orgs out there, right, who would just be streaming like what's it called? They'll be on the microphone, no webcam, nothing like so here we have player here about to enter what's it called, heaven, and then there'll be a pause, and then there won't be anything till like the next game.
I
I
know
feel
what you
like what's
mean.
and then there'll be like no overlays the whole time. I feel like I'd like to see the esports stream productions. It looks good, especially when you're a tier 3 team or tier 2 team. You can like the reason why I like it is the reason why I did it with Blue Skirmish because when I was 18, when I was a Valorant player myself, we
Yeah.
had like this like F slash free agent team we made, Dusk X we called it, and we'd play in like tournaments,
Mm.
and we liked it when people put overlays up because we could clip it and then put on Instagram or Twitter, and it
Yeah.
looked so much more professional for us and our
Yeah.
brand. It's like, oh, this team is playing in actual tournaments, not just it's not just a random Valorant clip that says, oh, we play in a tournament. It looks legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
love
know what
those
you mean.
clips. Mm.
I think this is more an A, I guess, because it's gotten to the point where everyone has overlays. I don't think I've actually seen a broadcast without an overlay in a minute now. And
Yeah.
everyone kind of just like everyone's kind of running the same setup. Like if I go to like a GLG event or a like Waypoint event or how even one of our own events, it has everyone's like, oh, there's the overlays, the casters are up there, everything's there. And
Mm.
I like the broadcast setup. I think it's good. I like it better than, as you said, like the old.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, welcome to um, Bean versus Team Tigers. These are some good agents right here. Like there's definitely a
yeah,
wild
yeah.
improvement, but I think there's like a bit of a
Mm.
middle ground that can be achieved
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think that there's a lot of funny like some of these games are really funny. There's a lot of
Mm.
why we should normalize making fun of some of the players sometimes. We should normalize just why not?
Mm.
Like there's nothing going on right now. These two teams
Yep.
don't know how to attack on site. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich this morning. Let's talk about that. Like, I don't know. Like
We used to
there's a
do that
lot
on
of
Blue Skirmish a bit. When I was geocasting with Diallo, we used to always just sit there and go, um, we don't know if he's played the game before in a few years, but he's back, But yeah, it's just stuff like that. It's like it's just funny to see what's called, and I feel like the problem is like with the esports scene, a lot of them could be quite sensitive, so you got to be careful what you say, of course.
Mhm, mhm.
But
But honestly, I think I'm
mm,
gonna make them sign a waiver. Be like, hey, you agree to
that's
get
a good point.
bullied, get bullied. Yeah. Like in the finals, get the two teams
The
and say, hey,
small
like,
print, the small print.
no, I'm gonna make it big print. Be like, okay, cool. So glad you guys qualified. Do you mind getting made fun of? Like, no, we're not cool with that. Anyway, disqualified. Bring the next team up. We're doing. Get rid of you. We, like, because I mean, let's be real. I think that there's a lot of people who
Hmm.
are gonna enjoy just hearing two casters have fun during the game
True.
and talk about
Yeah.
different cool stuff going on. Um, and then hearing if Team
Hmm.
Tigers really beat Team Billy Bob. You know,
Yeah.
that's just it. I don't know. Like I don't know about you,
Hmm.
but I think Team Bump Sniffers has 3 fans in maximum, and all of them are asleep right now. Like so, so it's like let's be real. Let's keep it a buck 50. You
Oh
know.
my god.
But yeah,
This
I
is
guess
true,
that
man.
kind.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? Honestly, I'd almost find a broadcast where it was just two guys playing a game of Valorant, but there's like they were casting a game at the same
That
time.
was cool.
That would be so
Shoutcasting,
funny.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. No, I've seen people like I've seen some genuinely interesting productions where the people there's nothing going on. But this guy at the top of his lungs going, oh my gosh, the trip got destroyed. The trip is broken. And you're like, what? What the hell? But you're in it.
Mm.
No, I've seen I
Yeah.
think there's just a lot of people doing the same thing um overall. But I don't know. There's a lot of things there, a lot of ideas I got there that I'm not gonna leak for the
Mm.
pod. But I think
No,
that
you have to leak. You signed a waiver.
oh nah.
Come on. Come on. We
a
forced you.
lot
Come
of
on. Time to
oh
sign.
my gosh. Yeah, but yeah, I know. I think there's a lot of I think a lot of what's gonna make streams better, especially with a lot of partners and people I'm working with,
Hmm.
is really tapping into content creators and what really
Yep.
makes them engaging. That's kind of what we're gonna be looking at. I obviously don't want to tell you too many details for
Ooh,
obvious
okay.
reasons, because that's some of the bigger
Mm.
streams we're working on, some of the bigger projects we're working on.
Yep.
But overall, looking more into it as content and how we can connect with the audience is
Yep.
what we're working on. Uh, that's kind of a little bit of a leak, but I don't really want to. I don't want to talk too much there because there's a lot of my competitors who would love to run with any idea I get. I
Cough,
mean,
cough.
it's just
Frost Esports.
but Frost can go eat rocks
Mm.
respectfully. Respectfully though, like just like eat rocks,
Mm.
but like respectfully though. Like I got no beef with any of the people behind the team. A lot of cool people there. A lot of the
Yep.
production people they work with there. But when I think about campers and I think about people who do nothing for the scene, who just sit there like a leech,
Oh.
that logo pops up in my head. Can't lie. Can't lie. Like like
So
like
much
the
for
weekly
respect.
but like that's like respectfully though.
Mm.
Like, I added the
Yeah.
qualifier. You can't so like no, I think it's like let's look like the weekly TOs in North America. You got Crunch, you got GOG,
Mm.
we got Duck Squad, and we got Frost.
Yep.
Crunch, we host our events and they lead to Lux Invitationals, $1,000
Mm.
tournaments that teams like to participate in. They get covered on VLR. They matter. GOG, they are a actual lounge, IRL. That's what they call the Great Lakes Gaming Lounge.
Yep.
They're hosting their events to promote IRL things that are going
Mm.
on, interesting projects. These there's something more going on there. Duck
Yep.
Squad, there's some goofy. There's a kid. I'm pretty
Mm.
sure like there are two kids running this org, but they're trying to do that. They're trying to build up their stuff there, and they run to events
Mm.
in Overwatch, a game that needs more
Mm.
people doing things. And then you get to
True.
Frost. What do? That's it. They put their events down, and that's it. That's it. I think they're bragging on Twitter about that they're the only profitable esports org because they don't invest anything into the scene. They just sit on their hands
Mm.
and just wait for things to happen. I think that they literally stopped hosting events in December because one of the sponsors they worked with didn't want to put any more events on the board. And I was
Oh,
looking and be like, I'm like, what? You can't invest $100 into the Valorant esports scene.
there's
You're
no
just like,
way.
you like they had a whole December just cut it off. They're just leaving it there, and then it's like, what are you doing? I
The
don't know.
Scrooge of Valorant.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many people that don't work with them. I don't think any of the CACP
Mm.
like collaborates with them at all. Um, and I don't collaborate with them. I don't work with them, but
Yep.
it's like I don't know. If they were to disappear, nobody would care. And that's why I could never, respect that because
Mm.
it's like I'm gonna be respectful, but I can't respect what they do.
That's
Because
fair.
like yeah, I mean, if you're not in it to win, what are you doing? This
Mm.
if you're not in it to win and you're not in it to improve the scene, what's the point? So that's it. That's it. That's kind of it
Yeah.
for me. But
Mm.
overall, I think that the stream production, while I wish I could share more, is definitely going to be changing and
Question though.
improving.
Question.
Mhm. Yeah,
So you know about profitability because you just mentioned profitability. So like, isn't the goal
Mhm.
to be a profitable esports org as well?
the
I feel like
the
that's such
goal
a
is to be
hard goal.
profitable, but the goal is to grow. No,
Good point. Okay.
the goal is to build the
Hmm.
scene, and you can't
Yeah.
build the scene if you're just looking at the line on the number and be like, well, we got to balance the books. We can't put any money we're not getting back. you had to you had to sometimes, especially now with how tier 3 is now,
Hmm.
we need to see more people willing to say, hey, I'm going to invest money into the scene so that
Yeah.
in the future I can build something bigger than what I am now. I can build up a level. If I'm just looking at how I could balance the books, I wouldn't run a Lux Invitational. I say, you know what, European teams, you can kick rocks. None of y'all getting a tournament. I'm just gonna host my weeklies. I'm gonna sit on my money and I'm gonna just chill. That's it.
Return of Blue Skirmish. Yep. Bring back
Yeah,
the weeklies.
that's it. Yeah, that's it. But I want to see the
Hmm.
scene grow, and I don't only want to see the
Yeah.
scene grow, but I want to see myself grow. And to
Hmm.
do that, I need to put on bigger events. I need to expand. I
Yeah.
need to like you think expanding to Latin America or Asia Pacific was a book balance decision? We lost money expanding to
Ah, I could
Asia.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing
But
is,
we
right? What's it called?
we
It'd be so good for the scene. I bet there's not many tournament organizers in the scene for that
mhm.
scene. You are doing
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so much when it comes to Latin America. So that is
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is too, it's not even just like we only care about the scene. For
Hmm.
us too, when we're getting bigger, when we eventually, we're international, it cost us money to get there, and we were
Yeah.
unprofitable maybe that year in terms of that. But it let us grow, it let us get bigger, and in the future, lets us bring in revenue from people who want to tap into the audience we built. It costs
Hmm.
money to make money, and it pisses me off because these guys they aren't just like it's not that they're just like existing, but they're taking away opportunities and money from other TOs that could use that money to do more. Like if GLG had more money, they'd invest into building a better facility and hosting LAN events. If like freaking, I'm sure Waypoint Lounge, they're a new weekly TO that
Hmm.
just started up. If they got more money, they use that to also put on LANs, to put on some other events in person and build up the scene.
Yeah.
Hell, if Blue Skirmish got more money, there'd be
This is
more
true.
tournaments in a scene that
Hmm.
doesn't have it yet. If Frost got more money, they'd sit on their hands and be like, "Well, damn,
Well,
we
it's
made
still
some
not
good profit
profitable.
this year." Yeah, we didn't make that much profit. I hate leeches. I really do.
Hmm.
And I have as I said, I have no animosity towards the team. Um,
Yeah.
I have no animosity towards the people there. If any of those people were like left Frost and were looking for a position at Crunch, I'd be like, cool, whatever. A lot of you guys are talented people. I work with you any day.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
when it comes to Frost, I think that
Hmm.
I think that the tier 3 scene has got to get smaller. I
Yeah.
think that there's got to be less TOs. There's a lot of people doing a lot of the same thing. I think once we get less TOs, we're going to see more viewership. Those stream
Mm.
productions are going to get better when there's less TOs because there's going to be more people caring about it. We're going to see a lot more, a lot bigger tournaments when we have more resources focused on smaller events. I
Yep.
don't know. I'd rather see, I think we'd all rather see, imagine instead of um, 8 events, like actually 8 events in 2 weeks, hosted by 4 different CEOs. We had
True.
a $2,000 tournament.
Well, like
Uh,
combined,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
with all, that's a good idea. I don't see many tournament organizers
Ima-
doing that.
imagine if all these sponsors weren't putting all their things on like little different TOs, and we had some bigger projects, we had some bigger events, we had some gauntlets going on. Like, at what point do
Hmm.
we have too many weekly TOs trying to
Yep.
do the same thing that nobody cares about? You know. But
I know.
that's a take for another day. I can rant about Frost all day
Oh
because I
my!
don't know.
This is good
I don't
content,
know.
man.
I just hate leeches, man. I don't know what it
Hmm.
is. I hate people who are okay with just sitting there and doing nothing with it. Maybe it's because there's a lot of boomers in their company. Maybe it's when you get to a certain age. Maybe when I turn
Hmm.
30, I'll be like, hey, Crunch wasn't that profitable with this, so we're not gonna do that no more. Maybe, yeah. Please shoot me if I ever say that. If I
Hmm.
start saying, hey, yo, Crunch is gonna sit on our hands and do nothing
Yep.
more to expand
Noted.
things.
Yep. Will do.
Thank you. I'll be looking out the window, see with the sniper rifle, be like, yeah, I deserve this. Take me now.
But yeah.
But yeah.
But I feel like
Uh,
Crunch is doing a lot, and especially for the EU scene, because it means I don't have to run Blue Skirmish currently. I don't want to sound like I'm copying Fusty's boss, but I do want to like bring back Blue Skirmish in the future. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. Um, but the whole program and stuff with like getting new teams involved with the European scene, and not just the 300 program, which I'll mention in a minute. It's the fact that Crunch is bringing a lot more tournaments to Challenger mode. Like Challenger mode,
yeah.
there's a big monopoly, and I've talked about this before, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
what really annoys me because there's no other platform you can go to. They basically control everything, and they have like a
Yeah.
huge tax on stuff as well, on player earnings and stuff. It's like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I think that's the thing. Like I had a person come to me and say, "Hey, I really appreciate you so much. You don't understand, dog. I made $100 from challengers. Like I'm like challengers. You mean VCL? Looked at his profile. Dude played in VCL season after season. He had a track record. I'll go see
hmm,
if I can find his VLR later. But it was ridiculous. He's like, "Hey, dog. No one invests in the scene. No one invests in the European scene. No one cares. Riot doesn't care." And they left it out to
yep,
dry. It. We really appreciate you. And I didn't know
hmm,
how much these tournament meant to people until I saw, I'd see people saying, "Hey, Josh, we really appreciate these tournaments. We put them our APEC event on hold at one point in time because one of our staff stepped down, and I had teams reaching out like, "Hey, dog, keep hosting events. We appreciate it. Like, there's not much investment in the scene here." Um, and that's I don't know. I like seeing a lot of players that didn't
yep,
have an opportunity to compete before show up. I like seeing a scene that Riot doesn't care about invested in.
hmm,
And I guess there's a lot of what comes to it when saving tier 3 is a lot. It's a bigger topic there. I imagine I'm
yep,
going to address that later on. But yeah,
hmm, true. We will mention that in a little bit. Yeah, yeah. There
mm,
he goes again. There he goes again. I mean, I have my was
yeah,
this time. Okay, so suppose I'm
yeah.
not. It's not too bad, but yeah. Um,
Yeah, you gotta stay hydrated, man. You gotta stay hydrated. Keep the brain going.
this is very true. Well, I was so dehydrated for like 50 minutes. I was like, should I get water? Because I was like, I forgot to get water before the podcast. I was like, oh no. But
Mm,
yeah, what's it called? It's really good for the European scene because in NA there's so many tournaments, but in Europe it's one of the biggest reasons why Blue Skirmish got to 4,200 followers on Challenger
mm.
mode is because there's like no one on there. There is no one out there, so that's why it's so easy to grow in the scene.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, the thing is, we got to European VLR before we got to NA
Hmm,
VLR. It was wild. We got on Liquipedia in EU first. We got into all these different because just by existing, the bar was literally on the floor, and we took a
literally.
step and like, wow, Crunch doing new things. They're pioneering. I'm like, what, bro? I just hosted an event. Is this where the bar is? We put on a $150 tournament and I think we got 72 teams showed up. It was just like that's that's ridiculous.
Hmm.
What? How many? You're telling
I
me
got a
all these
question.
teams? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because it's all about prize pools and like entry fees. And as Blue Scumch, I've had a history of putting entry fees in the bigger prize pool tournaments we do. I feel like a lot
Mhm,
of people don't like entry fees, and I know you don't do entry fees. But
mhm.
what is your thoughts on entry fees? Because I feel like entry fees really support the organization.
Okay, here's a hot take. Yeah,
Okay.
that's definitely I got clipped out of context. Esports fans and esports players really don't care about the scene. They don't care about you. They don't care
Hmm.
about your tournaments. All they want is your money.
True.
There's some
Yep.
people. There's some exceptions. There's some exceptions. A lot of
Yep.
players, a lot of people will come to me and forward me, and they've retweeted my stuff, and they've helped me get connections. But they don't care. People don't pay to watch events.
Hmm.
They don't want to pay to play in events. They don't buy merchandise. They don't
Yeah.
sign up at their sponsor links. I've had to beg
Hmm.
teams on my hands and knees, say, please register the sponsor first so I can actually pay this prize pool out. And they'll be like, the site's broken, dog. I don't know. This is taking too long. They don't care. And when they
Yep.
don't care, they see an entry fee and they're like, I don't want to pay that. No, I'm good. I'm not doing that. I don't I don't care about this. I'm not doing that. I'm not paying for that. He, people for esports to have a long-term future, we need to almost it needs to get smaller a little bit first. The fan base of esports needs to get a little bit smaller because right now running it is so unsustainable. People expect all these big tournaments to happen for free and then not to contribute
Hmm.
anything and to have NFL quality streams, like massive major like broadcasting coverage like
True.
streams and pay
Yep.
$0. They say, hey, it better be on Twitch, it better be 4K, 60 frames, it better be professional casters. They're not gonna pay to view it. You know how much it costs to watch FIFA? Yeah, you have to buy a network. You have to buy a subscription to a broadcasting network to watch FIFA, to watch the World Cup. It's not free. It's not just on the internet for free. At least in the NA, I had to pay, and that was fun. It's like, oh, this is the FIFA World Cup. I'm gonna pay to watch this, of course. People don't have that same respect with esports. I
Hmm.
I believe this is me personally that events should cost money to enter, and that people should pay to watch events, the majors at least. I shouldn't be able to go on and watch the VCT final stream where people are paying play for millions of dollars for free. That's dumb. That's unsustainable. You know how much money Twitch pays? Twitch is unprofitable.
True.
If
Yep.
Twitch is unprofitable, how
Hmm.
profitable do you think the streams running on them are? I see how much casters get paid. I see how much it costs to do the camera setups and run like lands and stuff. Uh, the stream people need to be able to pay to support the scene they want to play in, and they aren't now. And because they aren't now, that's why we can't charge entry fees. That's why we can't. We wouldn't.
Yeah.
No one would care. No one would show up.
Hmm.
Um, you
They
know,
should though. They should. Like
they
I feel
should.
that there'd be so many more tournaments out there, so many more people willing to put money back in there if they were going. Because like the Smash scene is great for it. Like people in the Smash scene will pay the entry fees. That's the amazing part. Like
Yeah.
£5 entry fee. Ah, I'll pay that. But yeah, I don't see why so many people aren't willing to pay it. I don't get in the Valorant scene. I
So
think it's just the
I
Valorant
I
scene.
buy I could buy a coffee at Starbucks for $5, but I can't be asked. I can't be asked to even pay a cent towards the Valorant prize pool I'm enjoying. If we had a 64 team
Hmm.
tournament and every single team paid $5 to enter, what is that? Yeah, $1,000, $2,000 prize pool? Ridiculous. And everyone would enjoy that.
Hmm.
We could
True.
literally fund the entire production budget if if even half of the teams were willing to pay $5 per player. That's just it. Like if we had people who were watching the streams and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna pay $5 a month to watch these streams,"
Hmm.
I would never have to worry about paying casters again. Every Lux Invitational, every round would be streamed. Every
Yeah.
I got 5 streams running, all these different. There would be a single uncovered match, but nah, it's all about seeing things for free. You know,
Hmm. They're spoiled.
play free.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Everyone's spoiled, bro. I don't know. I think that we'll get there.
Yep.
I think that esports has to be we have to obviously keep growing esports. We have to get more people in there. but at some point we have to be willing to alienate people. We have to be willing to
True.
alienate people who don't care enough. Uh, I think we have to be willing to say, hey, you know what? If you don't want to, if you're not paying your subscription to whatever esports platform gets built in the future, you can't watch, and that's fine because you clearly didn't
Yep.
care enough anyway.
Mm.
But that's a whole other topic because oh man, I think you know for sure, especially with Blue Skirmish, you were
Yeah.
single handedly carrying the European scene, and no one was chipping a cent.
For
He
real.
was running
Yeah.
these tournaments out of pocket, and nobody
Mm.
cared. Nobody. They'd be like, "Hey, well, thanks for the tournament, Super Phase, but sucks. Thanks for your
Yeah.
money, man."
Like a big, and it didn't help what's it called when Challenger mode came along. I was like, oh well, we don't want you around what's it called promoting your prize pools. And that's what really
Yeah,
put me off.
yeah,
I was like, well, we're the only other people pushing people to your platform, and no one wants to
yeah,
pay for your tournaments that have entry fees. Like,
yeah,
just because you get rid of us doesn't mean people will start joining the Golden Goose. Like, I play Golden Goose. I like those tournaments, but the annoying thing is what's it called? You can't just kick people out if you don't like it. You know? It's like,
yeah. Oh man, I don't know. Challenger mode is they're pain in the ass. I wish they were more like Battle 5. Battle 5 is
hmm,
awesome. Their NA's
yeah,
main platform, and they don't do anything screwy. They just say, hey, put your tournaments
hmm,
here, and that's it. We don't care. That's all you care about.
true.
I think they've been good. They have a monopoly. They have a ridiculous monopoly on the NA and
Hmm,
Asia Pacific and pretty sure Latin America scene as well. And they
yeah.
haven't done anything with it. They've just sat on it and been like, hey, we're gonna be cool. We don't even charge you. I don't even think they charge you money. I'm pretty sure they sell data. I They have to. I don't know how they make money. They have no there's no cost to put on tournaments here. There's no subscription models. There's a couple paid ad
Hmm,
spots. They have to make some money somehow. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're
yeah.
overall they're good. They're cool. They're not trying to push people off. Not trying to do a challenger mode
Hmm.
and kick blue skirt for no reason. But
Like
yeah.
no one really paid attention to that as well, which like we were like helping out the youth scene, and no one like we got like 30 likes on that tweet, and like no one else really cared really. They were like, oh well, we'll find another tournament, you know. But yeah,
Oh yeah. Hey, super phase. That kind of sucks, man. Challenge mode sucks. Anyway, I still don't care. I'm gonna go join next week's Golden Goose. Like,
pretty much.
oh
But
man.
yeah, it's like what's it called? And you're at a loss as well because what's it called? Even if you do charge the entry fees and people do pay them, you still get hit by that massive like 50%. No, is it 50 or 60? It's like either 50 to 60% loss of your earnings from challenger modes. There's like a 50,
Oh
60%
really?
tax. Wait, let me. All right,
Damn.
56. Yeah, 56%.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
No.
if you make an entry fee for like £5, you'll get like £2 back. So imagine how that adds up.
Yeah, no.
It's crazy.
Thankfully, we don't use challenger mode for our pay if we are ever to host a paid entry event. But even then, you have to be chasing teams down. People are paying
Hmm.
late; they're not paying on time. Gotta be hustling. PayPal takes their fees, so you're just getting cuts out of everything.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's like, even at the end of the day, like you're gonna have
Hmm.
less teams, less people participating, and you don't know. That's why. And plus, people also don't know how to read. So if I ever hosted a single paid entry event, people would show up because they think it's free because they saw free entry on the other
True.
banner. And
Yeah.
so it's just like we've kept our brand. We've never charged an entry fee on any of our tournaments ever. We never
Hmm.
will at Crunch specifically. I
Yep.
imagine that we're gonna start to work with teams and say, hey, we're gonna be rolling out some features that if you wanted to pay for them and support us directly, support the scene as a whole,
Hmm.
you could do that. But you will never see um you can't show up to this event because you didn't pay us money. I don't know, that's
Yeah,
just
that's
us.
fair.
I think people are willing to sign up as sponsors. People are willing to do what they got to do.
Hmm.
They I think we're gonna need to start expecting more from players,
Yep.
especially if we want the scene to grow long term. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I wish I could just charge entry fees and
Hmm.
host $1,000 tournaments every week. It wouldn't be hard. It'd be so
Yep.
easy. Like everyone wants $1,000 tournament every week. Get that on VLR. Everyone gets to build their VLRs and have fun in that. But nah. I'd rather buy a McChicken sandwich instead of supporting instead of supporting
It's true.
the tier 3 scene, you
Mm.
know?
You know, Battle Files when Blue Skirmish first started, I think it was like the first few weeks in, Battle reached out to us and they offered to sponsor us. Um,
Really?
yeah, they wanted to sponsor us to get more EU tournament organizers on there, but because I've used Battle before and I've played in Battle tournaments before. The thing is, we were seeing more success with Blue Skirmish and Challenger mode, and a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
people were into it. I reckon if Battle pushed me again, I'd take it because what's good, we could probably put some bigger prize pools and then advertise it.
Mm.
But it's one of those things. Like I really didn't want to run on Battle because I was more caring about the player base. But at the end of the day, what's cool if we can like get some like tournaments out. Yeah, I would take Battlefy anytime now. I feel like they're much better. And I feel like it's possible now. I've seen Polaris run on Battlefy because that's what they used. So
Yeah.
why not,
No,
eh?
no, no. The thing is that's annoying is that like
Hmm.
I would rather run it on Battlefy. The admin process is easier. All the administration tasks are easier. Like my whole NA and Asia Pacific apparatuses are built on Battlefy.
Yeah.
But if I put a tournament on Battlefy, I got 10 teams. And I have to go manually reach out to hundreds and hundreds of teams and fill this thing. Versus challenger mode, I can
Hmm.
just throw it on there and then 32 teams show up for a random Saturday
You know
evening
what you
on
could do?
and
I don't think there's a rule against this, but you could. What's the call? You know how like people used to like the free movies and stuff on Challenger mode. Like there's always used to be the odd advert on Challenger mode. You could still
yeah.
promote the tournament. Say, new Battlefy tournament is out. And just have like on the thumbnail. I don't think they'd
Honest,
care. Yeah.
I think they cracked down on that. I think they've especially when they cracked down on the prize pools and showing that in the banners.
Hmm.
I think they cracked down on us hosting events on other platforms. Battlefy
Ah,
actually
okay.
cracked down on that as well. They did. They got really mad when one of our partners was running an event. And they advertised it on Battlefy and didn't host it on Battlefy. They're like, "Hey, nah," and I don't know. I think
Oh
Challenger will do
wow.
the same thing.
Hmm.
I think
Okay.
that what's gonna take to bring the EU scene to Battlefy is to just start hosting good
Hmm.
quality events there for multiple TOs. It can't just be
Yeah.
Crunch. It can't just be Blue Skirmish. We got to see
Hmm.
more TOs willing to step out and host events there. And if Battlefy is willing to support it, I could easily see more of the Crunch International Competitive Partnership move in there
Yeah.
and bringing it to your Battlefy because Challenger mode as a platform sucks. It's pretty
True.
bad. And I don't know. The bar is in hell. Like, all you have to do is let us
Hmm.
host our
You
events,
love
and they
saying
can't
that.
even seem to do that right.
You
Because
love saying the
it's a
bar is in
good
hell.
because it's so accurate. Look, like the bar is right down there. It's so easy. Like you think, right? You think it'd be like, hey, let's put this platform
Hmm.
together, and then if
Yeah.
Challenger mode charged me $25 a month to host my events there, got out of my face, didn't suck as a
Hmm.
platform, I wouldn't care. I would host I'd host
Yeah.
my events on Challenger mode, be cool with me. But they want to do
Hmm.
all this weird stuff, you know? They want to do all
Yeah.
this stupid stuff. Have you ever tried to scroll Challenger mode and just look for European events?
Oh, you
You'll
get
see
offered like
live.
NA events and then Latin
Yeah,
America
yeah,
ones
yeah,
as well. It's
yeah,
got a
yeah,
weird
yeah,
filtration
yeah.
system. Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing there. And so it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
I agree with you there. I think that we could definitely I think that Battlefield would be an amazing future for Europe, but
Yeah.
we'll have to see how it pans out there, you know?
Who knows? Who really knows?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, there was a plan for Sea Storm, but I don't know what's going on with that plan. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just like I feel like Battlefy once more people go over there, it's fine because I mean, if Polaris can do it, then I'm sure we can get some people involved. If you advertise, I don't think Battlefy cares about prize pool advertising, right? I think they wouldn't
They
mind
don't.
it.
They don't care at all, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that then. I think the next tournament I'll go to is probably Battlefy then. Because what's it called? It can't be that hard to push people to Battlefy. Like, I feel like get established as a TO on Challenger, but then switch to Battlefy. I feel that's the plan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The only annoying thing is I don't think people care too much because I don't think because like we get people join our Discord, and then people don't actually join our like check our Twitter or something, or they won't check the other links because they're like, oh, well we're here for the Challenger mode tournaments because we like Challenger mode.
I think that the way that's gonna be to switch a lot of them over is if a lot of TOs move over at once. And just the
Okay.
idea of It's just like, hey, oh, where are the tournaments? Oh, they're on Battlefield now. Okay, cool, whatever.
Mm.
No one has a deep connection with Challenger mode. None of these teams are like, I love Challenger mode. It's my favorite. They're like,
I used to
I
be.
want.
I used to be, okay? I used to be like the biggest fan ever, right? Yeah, until they came over, right? I was like, oh, well, fuck them then, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I used to really like I was like, oh, Challenging was such a great platform. I was like trying to get other tournament organizers to use it. I was collabing with them. We had a few collabs and stuff. And still, yeah, I was at them all the time on Twitter. They always
Yeah,
ignored me. And then they finally
yeah.
came round. I was like, oh, okay, we hate you. Goodbye.
Yeah, we didn't notice you until now. But anyway, kiss my ass respectfully
Yeah.
though. And anyway, bye
Mm.
bye. Thanks for hosting tournaments on our site for the last like 6 months. Thank you.
Didn't even
Like
say
that's
thank
the
you.
thanks you get. Yeah, nah, not even that. Just be like, hey,
Yeah.
anyway, thanks for doing what you do, but like, not
Mm.
even thank you, bro. Get out of here, scram. Like what?
Literally. But yeah, it's a very strange place. And the admin support is terrible. Like you could, I think they've got better with the whole system. But if you need an admin to help you from challenger mode, you could be waiting for the whole tournament. Have you ever heard of I'm not sure if it's Mel FPS. Have you ever heard of the VCT Observer? Mel maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She joined our tournament, right? And I was like, oh, that's huge for us, you know. And I thought, oh, that's great. What's it called? We can get someone big in the scene playing our tournaments, right? And they were, but we had an issue with the challenge mode bracket because basically the team, you know, the team thing where you can't switch between the
Mm,
sub and the captain and stuff. Yeah, that
yeah.
happened, and we needed a challenger with admin to help us, and
Yeah.
yep, they just ignored us. And what's it
Wow.
called? Yeah, pretty much. And then they never came back to a blue skirmish tournament as well. They never came back to a challenger mode tournament.
I know that sucks, man. That
Yeah,
sucks. Because like what are you supposed to do? It's out of your control. Literally out of your control there. And there's nothing you can do. And the teams
yeah.
are gonna be like, hey, the players are gonna be like, hey, anyway, oh, remember that tournament that we played and that sucked? Oh, apparently it was challenger mode. They're not doing the research. They're just thinking,
Hmm.
oh, well, bad tournament and they go next. They're not thinking about
Yeah.
it like that. And so
I've
I don't
got an
know.
idea. Let's create
Yeah.
bad tournaments on challenger modes. Like
Oh
use a
my
different
god.
random company names. We call it Challenger Mode 1, Challenge Mode 2. And people,
Oh my
yeah, a
gosh.
lot of the times people think like you're actually Challenger Mode admins. Like people will
Yeah.
speak to you in Discord and they'll be like, oh, hello Challenger Mode, what's it called? I need you to look after my Challenger Mode account. Can you check my bank details? Like, I am the Challenger Mode admin, mate. It annoys me. I used to get them in the 2v2 scene because a lot of them like weren't used to competitive like gaming. So
Mhm.
but with the 5v5, oh, it's fine. They just go in and play. But 2v2, you get asked so many more questions. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Now get in there and start sabotage and start hosting
mm,
just terrible challenge. Hey, anyway, welcome to the event. We're challenger mode. Bracket 30 minutes late. Like, good luck. And then they'll be like, wow, these challenge mode tournaments suck. And then I'll like get like another account as a player and be like, yeah, this tournament
mm.
sucks. I'm heading over to Battlefy. You guys should join me. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe he is right. And then they see on Battlefy just like all like we have like blue skirmish events, crunch events,
Mm.
Raiders events, all these different like friggin' European events going on there. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of sucky, you know. Um, I don't know. See, you talk about Project Sea Storm, they're starting their own platform. That'd be dope. But I
Yeah,
imagine that Battlefy is gonna have to do for now, you know?
I feel like Battlefield will have to do for now. It's just what's it called It's either Team Oasis gets big enough, like what's it called, where we can maybe what's it called, stand have the hype to create a tournament platform, or it's one of the two, either Blue Skirmish or Team Oasis has the hype. It's more about being able to ride a wave into a new tournament platform. Because not only do we need the money, we also want the player base as well to join us. So we
Yeah,
need
yeah, 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 yeah.
we need an org surrounding us to back it. You know what I'm saying? We want like
Yeah, yeah.
someone big. Like it's either got to be what's it called, either one of our own orgs, right? That eventually grows into a bigger thing. The Oasis network, or what's it called?
Mhm.
Yeah, who knows? So some maybe a sponsor or
What are
anything.
this like when the CICP just gets big enough
Exactly.
to say,
CS. Yeah, the CSP would
yeah,
be
yeah,
great for C-Storm because if we all just switch to C-Storm, we would basically we could get all the EUC include. We just get an EU server for now, and then that
yeah,
would fix the issue. We just need enough teams of players to actually join it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, that makes sense, man.
Hmm.
But I guess I guess the biggest topic, and the topic probably we both had in our mind, is what about tier three? I guess what is
That's a good
the
point.
what's the future of tier three? Because we kind of been dancing around it. We talked about
Mm.
production. We talked about some people in tier three who aren't the best actors, and we talked a bit about some of the platforms in tier three. We never
Mm.
really talked about tier three as a whole, and obviously I have my own strong takes there. But I kind of wanted to hear
Yeah,
a little bit about what you thought, especially about European tier three. What can
that
be done
is
to take it to the next level?
yeah, yeah, of course. That is a good question. So for saving tier three, I would say, well, we've mentioned move over to Battlefy. That is one. Another thing is tier three. Would it be more of right? Do you mean more right games or just like as tournament organizers? What can they do?
As a whole, as a whole, like if we were just to say, you know what,
Hmm.
let's just think what can be done to save tier three, not specifically who, because there's a lot of people who could potentially save tier three. Like, what's funny? Adobe could save tier three. Like, the Adobe company, people who make Photoshop, they could save. Like, if they just threw $10 million into the tier three scene, they could
Hmm.
save it.
True. True.
There's
It would last for
infinite ways to
years.
save.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's infinite ways to save tier three. So I'm kind of
Hmm.
curious to think what do you think the ideal way to save tier three would be? I mean, obviously playing a little bit to more the realism rather than just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I would say what's it called? I feel like esports teams do hurt tier three as well. I feel like there's a lot of upsets in the esports team scene. Like esports
Mm.
teams will keep them like for a month and then get rid of them. Like you'll see the dream team be created right, and then they'll be gone
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
month.
yeah.
Like it really
Yeah,
annoys
literally.
me. I
Mhm.
It's like some of the wastes I strive not to have. Like I'd rather keep them for like months because when you do that, what's it called? You'll either reset a roster to like, or what's it called? You'll have zero players right, and you've just screwed a bunch of players over now. And then what's it
Oh
called?
yeah,
Most people won't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
join an org after. And then no
Oh,
one's gonna want to invest in the tier three scene as well, in the tournaments. So no one will pay the entry fees, and no one will want to actually pay the bigger tournaments out there.
facts. Literally facts. I don't know. You're right. Like we're almost our biggest enemy, like teams wise, because like they'll be like, wow. Anyway, this roster failed the tournament. Throw them away. Disband.
Hmm.
Go next. And in actuality, if we had a little more stability with teams and rosters and
True.
changes like that, then people will be able to counter it a bit more. Because I've
Yeah.
seen entire rosters cycle out 3 times in the span of a month, and you'll be like, "Oh, Challengers is about to start, and now you don't have an org." Like you'll see teams go from like they'll like, oh hey, they'll swap out
Hmm.
3 players, they'll add 2 players, take this other player here, and all these discarded players like, well,
Yep.
I don't even care about this esport anymore. Like no one, they
Hmm.
clearly don't care about me. Why would I care about this?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I definitely agree as well. And I think Riot's doing a good job of countering it because they've made it so what's it called to get into some like I think VCL tier two esports you can't
Mhm.
um you can't enter as an esports team. You have to enter as the 5 players. So an esports
Yeah,
team can back you and like you can represent the esports org of the thing, but you can't just kick the whole roster because then you lose your place as the org.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
like what they've done with that. That's quite a good idea. And I think that needs to be implemented into maybe tier three. I mean, tier three is hard because there's not as many esports orgs around.
yeah.
Because most people expect, oh, we need to get them to tier two. But it's nice that there are a few esports orgs around there.
Honestly, the thing about tier three, I think that's actually you mentioned that with VCL. I like that. Something we've done it with Lux, our major events in the CICP. Is those events will usually have a couple $1,000 on the line. They'll be on
Hmm.
Wikipedia, they'll be covered. And what we've
Yep.
done is that when these events happen and a team qualifies, the 5 players qualify, not the org. So if the
That's
org
good.
loses that team is still qualified. We've
Yep.
obviously had couple complications when the team breaks apart. We
Hmm.
usually stick with like the 3-man core. Like we'll work with that usually, but um, we've usually put more of a focus on the players. And I think that once more of the scene starts to look at that, especially when we talk about bigger events, we can see some more
Yep.
stability come around. Um, I don't know. There's a lot. Stability is a difficult one because
Hmm.
especially at this lower level, a lot of unprofessional players, a lot of unprofessional
Yep.
TOs, a lot of orgs that don't know what they're doing. When you think Fortnite orgs are bad, there's definitely some Valorant orgs run by kids as well that are terrible.
Oh, for real. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's- I feel like we're on now the three questions for me now. Like we're on that section, almost at the end.
I mean, I think that there's a little bit of left about tier 3 that I gotta talk about because we talked about
Okay,
your solution
okay.
there.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you
Let's see
you
what
can't
you want to
skip me
say.
out, man.
All right.
Because I think that tier 3 has to do three things. Number one, it has to condense. If you had a pyramid of all the different teams and players and
Mm-hmm.
organizations and just
Yep.
overall infrastructure, we'd see tier one at the top, a little bit. Tier
Mm.
two would be a little bit bigger, right?
Yep.
Tier three wouldn't even fit on the screen. Tier three is gone.
True.
Tier three is
Mm.
massive. Like
Yep.
this pyramid is lopsided. There's so many people who want to get in there, and the skill level gap is massive. A tier three team could be three radiants and two immortals, or it could be two ascendants and a bunch of diamonds, and they'd all be considered tier three. Um, it is too big, and in my opinion, it needs to get smaller. It needs to be
Yeah.
condensed. We need to squish tier three down, and we need to make
Mm.
tier four. Tier four needs to become standardized. We need to
Ooh.
push
The
those
problem with that,
those ascent. Yeah,
problem with that is they. I feel like tier four could have become a thing, but I think Riot is killing that idea because they banned academies.
really,
Yeah, yeah. You can't have academies in their official events and stuff. Like they don't want to have anything to do with esports who have academies.
really.
Yep.
Wow, wow.
I think it's
Is
stupid.
that
Yeah, I don't
a dumb
understand it.
idea?
Hmm.
I mean, because tier four is the answer, in my
Yeah.
opinion. If we make tier three more exclusive, some of the weekly goons who are hosting their events, some of them disappear, and we have less tier three events, but bigger tier three events.
Hmm.
And then we have some smaller events for players in tier four. Like imagine if we could imagine we have like a platform like Rib or VLR officially, say, okay, cool. These top 300 players are in tier
Yep.
three now,
Titans of tier four.
and then everyone else. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a tier four league now. There's a
Yeah.
tier three league, and
Hmm.
that means that not only would tier four players be able to play against people at their skill level, but it also mean that tier three isn't this just massive abomination of weekly events and the rosters disbanding and reappearing and all this stuff there. And being in tier three would be a little more exclusive. It would matter a little bit more. And I imagine that a tier three scene like that would be good for the next section. I think the second way to fix that is to start having players be expected more, like be expecting more players. Be saying, hey,
Hmm.
participation isn't enough. I don't want you to just show up to my event. I want you to complete all the steps that to sign up. Maybe follow my org on social media, doing
True.
this
Hmm.
sponsor thing here, doing all these different things
Yeah.
that I need from you to participate. Um, and then when you participate, don't just show up and play. Post it on social media. Post some of the clips that happened there, or
I love it
talk
when they
about
do
it on
that.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. If even half of the teams did that, these tier three leagues would have so much more attention on them, and we'd be able to see more sponsorships coming down to tier three. Participation enough is like the second step that needs to happen. That is
Hmm.
step two. Step one needs to get smaller. Step two, participation needs to matter more. You need to have more
True.
into participation, because then now we could say, hey, hypothetically, if when we free to enter tournaments have that higher bar, now paid entry events become a little more appealing. Hey, no signups, no sponsor signups, no following, no none of that. Just show up, pay this amount of money, and play. Is a lot more
Yep.
appealing now. And I don't know. I think that's gonna make people care a little bit more, or be kind of forced to care a little bit
Hmm.
more, because they're like, hey, if the events I want to participate in are gonna keep happening, I need to be willing to invest in them a little bit. And then the third step, the kind of important step there is we need to kind of get a little more coverage, a little bit more of what happens in tier two needs to become a bit more public. It's such a bubble right now because there has been the massive upsets. There's been teams doing amazing things, roster changes, all these different information to the void, like to nothing. Tier two
True.
has a coverage problem too. Like
Oh,
I
let me tell you
think,
something.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
the biggest thing I hate about tier two is once you get to tier two, your roster gets stolen by a massive multi-billion-dollar company. And that's what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hate,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You could build up like a dream team, right? And like be an org that actually cares about their players, and what's called, they will just go to a multi-million-dollar org that just buys them out. Boom. That's the problem. It's so the, the world of esports is so predatory. Like tier two will
Mhm.
just swallow up like a massive multi-million org will just swallow up a tier two like roster that's just been
Mhm.
built, and then take them,
Yeah,
what's it
yeah.
called, and they just remove them, and then boom. But the thing that annoys me mainly is the fact, what's it called, that it's just like how easy it is just to take the roster. You know what I
I
mean?
think that when we get better at contracts, when tier three
Hmm.
gets smaller and tier
Yep.
two gets a little bit more important and
Hmm.
contracts become a lot more standardized, we see a lot less of that team stealing, teams drop in, roster
Yep.
swapping. People will lock in their roster, keep it,
Hmm.
and then, okay, cool. Now, okay, let's switch things out now. Okay, cool. It's
Yep.
been 6 months. Cool. Let's switch things out. Or, you know what? This specific thing in the contract has been breached. Let's okay, terminate the team, whatever be a lot
Yep.
more solid, a lot more concrete, and orgs will be able to invest into tier three and tier two because
Yep.
it'll be secure.
The problem with that is a lot of people tier three do not like contracts. The experience I've had so far with recruiting people is it's
Mm.
a lot. Some people do really want the opportunity, especially from the tier two scene when they've already had LAN experience. But some people who haven't, a lot of them hate hate contracts in the tier three scene. I didn't realize how big it was until I entered the development scene. But yeah, people despise contracts because of how many upsets and how many times they've got burnt by esports orgs. That's what's happening,
Yeah.
and it's really ruining the reputation of newcomers into the scene.
Mm.
And it's like, yeah, everyone, most of the scene hates like having the contract from an org. But yeah,
You know
we
what's
do,
kind
but
of
yeah.
cool? It'd be kind of cool. It'd be kind of dope if we had more player
Mm,
unions or team unions, call them. Imagine the idea of you burning a bridge with the player, like screwing them over, and then no
mm,
player joins your org. Nobody. You get banned from tournaments. You get banned from all these stuff there. And because you were predatory and did terrible things to your players, the scene punishes you.
yeah.
Imagine a governing body of sorts of the tier three, tier two that was able to say, hey, you know what? You've been
Mm,
giving predatory contracts to players. Don't do that. Imagine. It wouldn't even
yeah.
take that much time. It would only take, like, if the CICP, Knights, and One Esports join forces, that is 99% of tournaments in NA on that are in one spot. If some of the bigger orgs in tier three did the same thing, like, that's all it
Mm,
is. It's just a governing
yep.
body would be so easy to build and it stop a lot of the contract burning and
True.
predatory tactics you're talking about.
Mm, yeah. What's it called? I was working on something a long time ago, a year ago actually, during Blue Skirmish, but even before Team was
Mhm.
Esports, or after it, during the time, it was called Crimson Rights, and I was gonna build. I never got around to finishing it, but it was something I was quite passionate about until I was like, I don't know how to go about doing this, but I wanted to do this, and you've just like ignited that. I'm like, yeah, it does sound like a really good idea, but it's just getting your foot through the door to do that. It's so hard to manage. But yeah, the brand was
Mhm.
originally called Crimson Rights, and basically your rights are blood right. But yeah, it was like the whole red diamond. I think you've seen the Twitter, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
think you saw that at some point. Yeah,
that was what it was meant to be. I've forgot the domain and everything, but yeah.
imagine you if you're a TO and you don't pay out your prize pool,
Hmm.
the esports governing body just says, okay, cool, everybody, they don't pay out prize pools, do not show up to their events, and that's it. Never. You can get away with
That's what we
that.
need.
No one
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no one shows up to your events anymore.
Hmm.
That's it. That's GG. Imagine a team they show up to an event and they skip paying. They just skip
Yeah.
paying for the event. Okay, cool. Anyway, every TO just
Hmm.
doesn't let them into any other events until they pay that out. Like
Yeah.
imagine it would cost 0.99. It would cost
True.
nothing. It's literally a bunch of orgs, a bunch of the people at the top of the scene saying, "Hey, let's just agree. Let's just do it. Let's just do this together. This is gonna literally make all of our jobs
Hmm.
easier. Let's do this." And that's the thing. I mean, that's something the CICP is kind of working on. I mean, we're so close to having like the entirety of the NA tier three scene like collaborating and working together that
Hmm.
I think that at some point we'll be able to officially say, hey, you know what? The CICP is looking out for teams. Every CICP member
That
will
is
pay
good.
up their prize pool. Like every
Mm.
single CSP member is going to have these things for these tournaments. Every
Yeah.
single CSP member. If you skip one CSP member's like entry fees, or you do something
Mm.
stupid in one of these tournaments, like you cheat or do something like that, you're banned from all of them. Like we're close to getting that set up, but we need a bit more collaboration on the players' end as well,
Yeah.
because these esports orgs are accountable to nobody. Like you said it right.
True.
I could get a scummy contract written together, hand it to you, right, and then you sign that, and then I got your money, bye bye. Like what? No one's
Yeah.
holding me accountable, right? And so
Exactly.
I know, yeah,
I mean, it goes for players as well because I want there to be like protection for like both the orc and the player because I feel like some orcs can get burnt like by players and no one will care because oh it's just a corporation, you know, like we don't care.
yeah,
Um,
mhm.
but yeah, it's one of those things. Like there's some massive scummy orgs out there like 2AM Esports. I'm not sure if you've heard of them.
I've heard
I
some
mean,
things about them. Yeah.
I used to be on that org, man. It's not a good org.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Um, but yeah, with the power of like a union, we could make sure the esports org is more of a safer landscape, and that would never happen. Because these orgs, like, we want something that could like pester them off the platforms, you know. Like we
Yeah,
want
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Like, I don't want to say bully, also in a sense, right? But I just want something that goes like, oh, well, you're banned from everything, you know. And it sounds bad to say, right? But at the same time, if
yeah.
you're gonna go around doing that, right, and then keep reviving yourself, why should you be around? And then say, oh,
It's
what's
also
cool?
it's
The
yeah, yeah,
haters are
yeah.
coming. Yeah.
Oh no, no. Not even it's not even the orgs as much. We want to watch the people, because
Mm.
the orgs are suits. If you think about it, the orgs are just a
Yeah.
person wearing a mask. I said, because 99
Mm.
times out of 10, it's just one person running this thing, and like maybe two friends or a couple
Yeah.
like graphic designers or someone on board. We need to keep checking
Mm.
these people, because the people are usually the
True.
people screwing it over.
Good
If
point.
we had okay, cool. We have a tab on what's his face. Um, I know Joe, and every single org Joe has started, he has scammed the players every time. Do not
Mm.
sign with Joe at all. Then that means that
That's a good
orgs will be
point.
like, okay, cool. We're not gonna let Joe onto our team because we don't
Mm.
want people to look at us that way. What's players will be like, oh, I got a contract from I know you. That you scam those players if I'm not working with you. And then on the
Like an
players end,
encyclopedia. It's
yeah,
Wikipedia for dickheads.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. And it would be so easy too. I don't
Mm.
know. People always there's a
Yep.
horror story every other day. And it'll
True.
only take
It's
us to
crazy.
start writing these down and
Mm.
corroborating other people's stories and say, hey, yeah, Joe did this to me. And then someone saying, hey, you know what? You know what? That's actually wrong. Joe didn't do this to me, and he didn't do that to
Mm.
the or saying, hey, you know what? You're right. I actually that happened to me too, and that happened to my friend. And oh, here's this documentation. Here's these screenshots. Here's these
Mm.
recordings. Or and this system could obviously have its
Yep.
flaws. It can definitely be abused,
True.
but it's better than nothing. It's
Exactly.
better than
Yeah.
nothing.
And like what's it called? These big esports news orgs, like with 2AM, right? There was a lot of documents I had on them and stuff and everything, and a lot of evidence. But took it to like big people like Jake Lucky and stuff, and they just ignored me. I
Yeah.
showed it to a girlfriend. I was like, oh, show it to your boyfriend as well. Like Jake Lucky, and they all both ignored me as well. I showed it to Keemstar. I showed it to that person. I showed it to that person. I thought, oh, maybe someone's gonna take
Yeah,
it interest, you know? But no, no one
yeah,
wants to look
yeah,
into 2AM.
you know, because why would they care? Oh, are they big? They're sort of nah. I don't care then, bro.
Hmm.
I don't care. If it's not gonna get me more clout, then I'm not gonna do it. And
Hmm.
that's what these news people are thinking, right?
Yep.
Because a lot of them, let's be real, they pay the bills by drama. They pay the bills by people looking at them, and I don't
True.
blame them for that. That's how this
Hmm.
business works. But at the same time, when it comes to holding people accountable, we need their help. We need
True.
their attention they
Yeah.
have, you know? And it cost Jake Sucky who
Nothing.
like
Yeah.
nothing. It cost them nothing to say, hey, you know what, bro? I'm gonna spend this next 15 minutes looking into the
Mm.
documents you provided. Oh, they look legit.
Yep.
Cool. I'm gonna make this public. And that's it. And then, but as you
Mm.
said, it's hard right now. And I think it's
Yep.
gonna. I think that once we get a little bit more bigger events on the board,
Yep.
once hopefully the CHB keeps growing and we have a chance to connect with these people, be like, hey, how do we hold some people accountable? How do we start that? Um, but I don't know. There's a lot of grounds to be covered there, and tier three is
Mm,
massive and a huge problem, and there's a huge, massive amount of problems that I didn't even touch
yeah.
on. Those are just some of the issues I think could be solved, but I don't know. There's a lot of good minds putting their thoughts into this. I
Well, I
think
have a
that's
solution.
something we'll
I have a
eventually.
solution.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll talk about it after the call. But I got another business idea. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
I,
let's not leak it yet. Let's move. Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
okay. But yeah, I think that's the end of that. For saving tier three. But yeah.
Mhm.
Um, unless you got any more
I guess. Yeah,
opinions
but
about
three
tier three.
questions for you now.
Oh yeah, the three questions for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
go
yeah.
for it.
Well, question number one: why Oasis? What made you think that this was the project that you wanted to get started on?
Well, back to what I was saying about esport orgs burning people.
Mhm.
Um, I have slipped up in the past a few times. I have made mistakes. What's it called? It's important to what's it called focus on building up players and creators, and making sure what's it called. I don't know. I just really enjoy the I guess I enjoy helping creators grow. I like seeing them in tournaments. I think the best part of Oasis is paying the players and then getting to watch them in the events. And you see, oh, they're all
Ye-
repping my team and they're in that event, and it's just nice
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go.
yeah,
You're not even watching them for Oasis. You're just watching them because they're kind of part of the family. And it actually feels like an actual
yeah.
connected like team. And that's what I enjoy
Mhm.
about it. It's like one of those things. Uh, it's like interconnected as well, and like everyone's like looking out for each other, and you're there to support them. It's just nice to see a network of people building something. So that's what it's always been about.
Yeah, yeah. That makes so much sense, man. No,
Hmm.
honestly, that's huge. That's like I respect that, man. Like that's a lot of. It's
The thing about the
definitely a
podcast,
feeling you can't replace.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I said something about the podcast. The reason why the podcast
Yeah.
exists, because I'll mention that about Oasis because I don't know I mentioned Oasis Esports, but the podcast makes sense as well because the whole point of the podcast is like, so we get to tell um people, medium-sized people, um their stories. You always hear the large stories on the bigger podcast, right? But you don't get to see um what's it called? You don't get to hear the stories of like the come up of other people. They have to get to the T1 scene like in anything.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
with this
yeah.
podcast, it's the podcast of the tier 3 scene.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah,
For
yeah.
for anything, any scene, it's the podcast of tier 3. Like anything like
Yeah.
in esports, right? Like any type of game, like yeah, that's what I think, and that's why I do it to tell people's story.
That makes sense, man. Nah, that is that's a need not filled. You said it. You had to make it to the top for them to tell your
Mm.
story. Like no one was paying. No one's like, hey, you're almost on your way to the Grammys. Uh, tell us what you're doing. Nah, no one says
Yeah,
that, or no one's like,
exactly.
or like in
Mm.
like soccer or football. Hey, college player, you look like you're on the way to the top. Tell us your story. That doesn't happen. They're
No.
like, oh, well, whenever you get to the NFL,
Mm.
you'll have an interview with us. That's what happens, you know?
Exactly,
Um,
man.
so, and so, yeah, I guess kind of leads into my second question there. Because, I mean, you have a lot of ideas in terms of how to improve things and what the
Mhm.
scene could be done to improve, but like to change and fix some of the issues that are going on. Um,
Yep.
what do you think if you were given control of Riot's like tier one, tier two, tier three, all that? Like you have the
Okay.
entire budget under your disposal
Mm.
and you can mold the scene. You literally have
Ooh,
full
okay, this is a good
control.
question.
What would you do?
What would I do? Mm, I think I would remove franchising. I hate franchising. I've always been against it. I feel like stopping esports orgs from actually getting to there and making so you have to pay is why what's called so many esports orgs aren't in league and why it's dying. They're going that route as
Mhm.
well, and I don't want them to. It's like you said as well.
Yeah,
It's like Valorant in 5 years. Um,
yeah.
yeah, that's how you fix tier one. Tier two, I don't really have much to say about tier two other than what's it called, the multi-million-dollar orgs. I would say, mm, I would put more like actually for tier three and tier two, I would say you have to be part of an org. I think that would
Hmm.
encourage more players to join orgs rather than do free agent teams, and then they'd be willing to put more money in the prize pools.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because then you could just put the regulations. I would let more regulation like I'm like see I don't care about crypto that much and esports betting, but I know how well it does for CS:GO. I know why it supports the scene as it is. Like the amount of
Yeah,
like sponsorships regarding that and Valorant bans it just hurts the scene.
yeah,
But yeah, and it just makes people not want to be a part of it because it's like, oh well, what's cool if we can't have this sponsor? What's cool then we can't run the events as much. So
exactly.
yeah, um, I would also I think there should be a Valorant platform for tournaments, not a challenge mode, not a battle fight,
Yeah.
a Valorant platform, like
Mm,
a Riot Games tournament platform, so like people can put tournaments on there, and
yeah.
but it's got superb anti cheat because you know of course there's the Valorant police out there now and stuff. People have got to go up to them and say, "Oh, can you verify this? Can you verify that?" We
Mhm.
could have what's it called, an actual tournament platform owned by Riot Games, and it'd be legit, you know. And
Yeah.
I think Riot Games, most of the stuff they do is quite well done. And it would solve a lot of monopoly issues because Riot Games ain't going to care what's good if someone else is making a tournament with a prize pool. They're not going to kick them
Yeah, yeah,
out.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's my answer.
Now, if anyone's gonna have a monopoly over tournament like platforms, would it not be the game developer? I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that means that like, hey, worst case scenario, if like, like Riot doesn't really have an incentive to make
Mm,
money with it. There's no incentive for them to like
yeah.
squeeze as much profit as possible, like Challenger mode does. Their goal is
Mm,
just to facilitate more people playing their game. And so they have
exactly.
the incentive to make it as good as possible. Versus
Mm,
Challenger mode, where they're trying to squeeze you dry, add all the
yeah.
percentages and
True.
fees, and like, oh, you have to have the prize pools here and paid entry only tournaments. We're gonna put those on the front page, and
Mm.
like it'd be so easy. I'm calling it Valorant buys Battlefied and makes the best platform of all time. That'd be beautiful. I'd love that. I'd be so happy.
It's the
But
future.
hey,
It's the future.
that's a good answer though, man. Franchising sucks ass. I don't think anyone I've
True.
talked to has ever said franchising was a good move. League of Legends in 5 years, baby. League of Legends. That's
I'm
Valorant
here
in
for
5 years.
it.
Oh, jeez. But hey, I guess my last question for you, um, it's a little bit off topic, but I'm curious if you had, let's say right back when you were about to get started in esports, if you
Mhm.
were like, let's just say all of a sudden God came down and said, "Yeah, no, you can't do esports superface. Nah, you can't do that, bro." What other industry would you go into? Let's just say, like you had
Oh, okay.
any
Ooh,
any other
okay.
any other place to go to. Like you
Hmm.
couldn't touch esports. God like denied it. He put a
Hmm.
wall around the city. You couldn't
Access
get in.
denied.
Just
Okay.
the, yeah.
Um. Hmm. So, can it still be gaming, or is it gaming like
Yeah,
fully locked?
it cannot be esports. It can be gaming. It can be like you can
Okay.
start a gaming podcast, but you can't host tournaments. You can't own teams. You can't
Ah.
yeah.
Hmm. I think I would. I think I would stay as a content creator. I reckon because that was originally what I started as. Um.
Mhm.
Because in order to start another business, I would need a little bit of money. So I'd need to make a bit of money anyway as a content creator to invest into another business, which is how like I
Yeah,
think that's how the Team Voices network works anyway. But
yeah,
yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, if I really wanted to, my dream would be like a space company or something. That'd be cool. But
yeah, yeah. That's
that's
kind
quite
of
hard to
dope.
get into. Yeah. But
I mean, yeah, it's millions of dollars to like get
yeah,
into
yeah,
space.
exactly. But if it wasn't, I would. Um but yeah, I think I would have stayed as a content creator if I couldn't get join a team because I was a content creator and I was getting better as well each stream. I was joining teams left and right and center, and I was improving as a content creator all the time. Like my overlays, right? What's it called? Was some of like I was pioneering my overlays. Like my overlays, you could like follow right, and something would happen on my overlays. It would be full on animated for each different thing, like different weather effects.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it was something that you didn't see all the time, and like you normally would have to pay like $2,000 to get someone to make it I was making it with After
Yeah,
Effects. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That
so
makes
that's
sense
how
though,
I
man.
yeah.
It's pretty dope to hear. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. No, for me personally, I definitely go more into digital marketing because that's where
okay.
my background was. That's how I got into
Yep.
esports in the first place. It's
Mm.
kind of funny. We would have met in this alternate timeline where you couldn't touch esports and I couldn't touch esports. I'd eventually be like on Twitch and like working with some creators like, oh,
mm.
super phase. Oh, his overlays are dope. What the heck? Let me get working with this dude. I like to think that. That's kind of funny though. You know?
Yep. It's what's it called? What do you call it? It's like, oh, what's it called? Have you ever seen What If? You ever seen
Yeah,
Marvel's
yeah,
What If?
yeah,
What do they call it in the
yeah.
episode 4? That's called, it's like a closed point or something. No, not a closed point. It's like a point, what's it called, that just keeps repeating or something.
Oh
Then
yeah,
no
yeah.
matter
Like
what you
almost
do,
like a
it
canon
doesn't
event.
change.
Like
Yeah, it was a
yeah,
canon event. Crunch
yeah, yeah,
Gaming
yeah,
and Blue
yeah,
Scope was a canon
yeah.
event.
Yeah. You must meet Superface. All like in different timelines of Josh.
Bro tries to
Like,
change it. Yeah. Spider-Man 2099 like jumps through the portal at him.
no, yeah. He adds a contact to my phone. I'm like, who's this? Call them. Like so that's funny
Like,
though, man.
yeah. But yeah, so what's it called? I feel like that is something I wish I would have just kept doing for a bit longer. Because I feel like I jumped into Team Waste little bit early, which I kind of miss
Mhm.
content creation as well. Because I tried to get into it occasionally. The thing is with teams and stuff, you should never have enough time to do that because you got work and stuff, and then you got teams as well. It's like, oh man,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you never have enough time to do both at the same time. But yeah,
I hope to get into content creation, so I'll definitely be asking you for
mm.
tips. Yeah, if I get enough time, though, I
mm.
got school, I got work, I got crunch. So,
Yeah,
it's like,
I feel you,
but
man.
hey, I'm hoping, I'm hoping.
Mm.
Hey, if I end up never playing League of Legends again, but I became a content creator, that's a good trade, you know?
Yes.
That's a good trade. I mean, that's what my free time is now. It's just playing
Mm.
volleyball, playing Valorant, playing League, the finals sometimes, which you're gonna check out after this podcast.
Maybe, maybe.
Hey, bro, I'm telling you, the
mm.
finals is so fun,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah.
It's something new.
Mm.
It's unique.
Okay.
You don't see too much of that right now, you know?
You said it was like modern COD, right? Mixed with
It's like
Overwatch.
modern COD, Overwatch, and everything blows up. So I
Oh
mean, what can
wow.
you ask? Like you can destroy the entire
Hmm.
building, like the entire objective. You can just blow it up. Why not? Have them for the memes. I'm just play one round and you'll understand what I mean. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
There's another game as well that's in like early access right now. I don't know what it's called. I think it's a game similar to it's a game company similar to Ubisoft. I think they're gonna be on the Ubisoft store. But it's like
Mhm.
CS:GO, but it's 4v4.
Was it X Defiant by any chance? No, not X Defiant. That's a different game.
Maybe. Hold on, let me check my emails. 'Cause I think I've got it on my emails somewhere. Um, I had it somewhere. Let's have a look. Hmm.
Yeah,
Let's
because X
see.
Defiant was the other game that I've heard that's been coming up pretty recently as well. It's
Um, Project Project U, maybe.
oh
Maybe it's Project U. I'm not sure if I'm talking about the same thing. It might be it's either Project U or I'm thinking of X Defiant. It might be X Defiant actually. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. X Divine is pretty cool as well. I didn't
Hmm.
get a chance to touch the beta. A couple of my friends did. And they're like, Josh, we're still back, and I'm like, what do you mean, dog? This is it's beta, bro. Calm
Yeah.
down. And then, but they were hyping it up because they hate COD right now, and so like this feels like COD but cool again.
Hmm.
It's the old days. And I'm like, okay, I didn't have the old days. My parents didn't let me touch COD. They're like, it's too violent. You're shooting too many people. You can't do that. I'm kind of thankful they did because I can
Yeah.
only imagine what a 16-year-old me would do in esports. Oh geez, I probably mess up some people's futures. I probably accidentally I started like a Fortnite org, but like 5 years ago, like a COD org. Oh no.
Imagine.
Yeah,
It'd
so
be
I'm
like
glad I got
Crunch.
into
It'd
it.
be Crunch Clan.
Oh nah, Crunch Clan.
Bro ruined the timeline.
Oh nah. That's like definitely like like a Universe 6 Josh, where
Hmm.
I got caught on the Wii.
Imagine.
No, no. But hey, man, and overall, I'm pretty excited about things in the future. Obviously, we talked about Live Dive, a lot of different problems with esports, a lot of different things
Yep.
going on. A lot about the past and how I got started, how you got started
Mm.
there. I'm feeling optimistic. Can't lie, you know. Pretty
Okay.
excited about things moving forward.
Yeah, and you seem to have a lot planned as well with the Latin America scene, so I look forward to that. Where can we find you, by the way? What's the best place to find you?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. On Twitter, my org Crunch Gaming Val. That's where
Hmm.
I tweet too much. That's definitely up there.
Hmm.
Definitely the best place to find me. You can find my socials from there, my
Yep.
Discord server, website, TikTok, all that stuff from the Twitter there.
Mhm.
Crunch Gaming Val. Then we got the verified check mark because Elon's new thing. So that's pretty dope. We show up at the top of the search for that. Yeah.
Sounds great. And I hope you all enjoyed the episode. That was our amazing guest Josh of Crunch Clan. Um,
Crunch Clan.
and yeah, thanks for watching. And we'll see you in next month's episode. Bye for now.
Bye for now.